best part.
Hi, how about now?
Remember the days when we could just do a podcast without having some fucking technical...
No,
something?
I don't, because we always had a fucking technical issue. Anyway.
Even before the internet, we did.
Live stream.
Okay.
Die.
I believe we're good
Slow.
now.
Oh, okay. Sound is reaching Sweden.
Yeah. Sorry for all those terrible things we said about Sweden that you didn't hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sound.
So this is why we might actually need somebody to do the... Let's talk about how he enters the room thing, because then that would let us know that we're actually broadcasting sound.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Anyway, where were we? Oh, yeah.
Chuck, you were way over on my side.
I'm sorry.
Don't touch him. There's a line right in the middle. Don't
Yeah.
touch him. All right. Do you need a clap or just go?
That just go.
All right. That was for your clap. That was like the Brett Favre. That was the Brett Favre, Caitlyn Jenner clap. That was like, and then the slide kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Harlow got an Oculus Rift.
What?
VR time.
Wow.
I've finally tried VR.
You can now add us to the mute list if you are sick of people talking about VR, because here comes some.
I think we're over the VR zeitgeist, and I think
are
we're
we?
back into where it's okay to talk about VR again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's when we get into Player Underground's Battleground
Yeah.
Yeah.
that everyone will tune us out. But,
True.
but yeah, you got an Oculus Rift.
I did. Their current bundle pricing was too good to pass up. Just so you know, like it's down to $400 US until they hit a certain number, and then it's back up to full price, which new full price is now $500. So
Yeah.
even though
And this is with the touch
yeah,
controllers.
because the bundle used to be $600 with the thing and the touch controllers and all that. So it finally was like, all right, I have a PC that can do this. It is now time. And on top of that, the thing that 100% sold me was booking an appointment at a Best Buy where they have certain Best Buys have the demo thing for Oculus. Because VR goggles are VR goggles. I mean, as long as they're running at what are considered the appropriate specs to avoid motion sickness, which I believe is, well, the Oculus runs at 1440p at 90 frames a second, and that's what avoids any motion sickness.
Yeah.
Is that just for the vast majority of people, or?
I think so. I mean, if you're
So
prone to
it's-
motion sickness, you might get it anyway, regardless. Just,
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, this is what, keeping it running at a constant 90 frames is what prevents you from getting motion sickness by drop frames.
Okay.
That's the trick is like, people that aren't even prone to motion sickness, if you start dropping frames, you're like, well, no, something's not right. Bleh,
So you said it runs at 90?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure PSVR has to hit that too. I mean, like I said, I think that's what scientists were like, it needs to run at this or else people are going to start feeling sick. Well, I was going to say is headsets are headsets. As long as they're doing what they're supposed to do, that's fine. I mean, then you're just talking about level of graphics that your machine can do.
Yeah.
What sold me on the Oculus, and I'm sure the Vive is probably very similar, are the touch controllers. The touch controllers are by far and away the thing that makes that system work.
Yeah, I mean, they're like the Wiimote or the PlayStation Move if they actually worked,
Yeah. So,
which they kind of didn't.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of like if you were holding something in your hand a la the Wii remotes, but it had the tracking like the Xbox One Connect had, which was good, but they never made anything for it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the best of those two worlds. The amount of tech that's in those touch controllers is pretty astounding because you've got little sensor things that sit up. You can have as many as you want to buy for better tracking purposes.
You've only got two, right?
I've only got two because like the VR set comes with one, the touch controllers come with one. You can add more at like $50 a pop or whatever, and you could 360 them around you if you wanted to. But like they've got IR tracking on them, so wherever you move your hands, it's 1-to-1 on the screen. But then each button and finger position also has trackers in them. So like even if you're not pushing the button, just resting your fingers on there, it's like it knows your hands are there.
Yeah, like and when you get a visual representation of your hands in VR, it also will move those fingers on and off the controllers in VR, so you can like without having a visual frame of reference to your own actual hands, you have a visual frame of reference to your fake hands to see if they're on the right position on the controller or not.
And I think others. Chuck's the only one among us that hasn't tried it yet.
I've watched everyone
Yeah.
do it.
Well, yeah, that's the
Which
silly,
is an experience
That's
in
the
and of
silly
itself.
part. I mean, that's the one. Let's be honest. You look ridiculous when you have it on, but you kind of don't care
I
once
didn't
you have
think
it
it
on.
looked that bad. I mean,
Yeah.
it didn't look as silly as like what movies have depicted VR
Sure.
to be.
Yeah.
So.
We all look like massive dorks anyway, so it's
Yeah, absolutely.
not a big deal.
No,
Yeah,
not,
used
not
to
worried
it.
about it.
And none of us had mouth agape face, did we?
I don't think so.
No.
Like that picture of Will Smith that everyone uses.
No,
the
no.
guy from Tested, where it's like,
Yeah. But the thing is, I think everyone can attest, is like if the motion controllers are on and you don't have them in your hands, someone else can hand them to you, and your hands will naturally reach out and grab right where they are. That's
Yeah.
how accurate they are.
Yeah.
Can't see a thing in real world, but you can reach right out and they're where you think they should be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was surprised at how little like fumbling around, because you handed them to me like one at a time, and I just like reached out and grabbed it, and I was like, oh, it's actually in my hand now.
Yeah.
I can't believe that I didn't like drop it or smack it across the room or something.
Right.
It was just the 1-to-1 is actual 1-to-1.
Yeah. But I mean, when I say like there are sensors, like so, the game kind of makes you like a weird 3-fingered flipper creature, sort of because like the tracking is meant for your thumbs, your index finger, and then the other 3 fingers are just kind of connected.
Yeah.
Like so, you've got a little grip button on the bottom, so you can't like individually flex out your.
yeah, you couldn't pretend to play piano.
Right, or you couldn't even flip somebody off. Like, really.
Aw.
But anyway, so you can point at things, you can do a thumbs up, or you can make a fist, essentially. And as I was saying, with your middle finger, ring, and pinky, that little grippy thing is what you usually interact with something. So like you'll reach out and be able to grab it and pick it up, and you can throw it, and whatever. So
Yeah.
that's
And it's definitely the best use of triggers as far as using your middle finger and your index finger at the same time. Because like I never, like on Xbox or PlayStation, I never have my hand sitting like that ever. I'm always using my index going either up and down or whatever.
sure.
It's very rare that I do it that way. But these, the way they're designed, it's like it's nestled in.
Yeah.
Which makes sense for one of the games we're going to talk about called Robot Recall.
Yeah.
Where you're literally drawing your gun with your middle finger to hold it,
Right.
and you're shooting the trigger with your index finger.
Yep. Yeah. So I'll talk a little bit more about the tech,
Yeah.
and then I'll talk about the games.
Yeah.
So I'm saying like every single button, like your face buttons, like A and B on the right hand side and X and Y on the left hand side, you can just rest your finger on those. There's a little thumb rest thing that doesn't do anything. It's just a rest. And then there's like, I think maybe the menu buttons don't have the sensor in them, but that's the only one because you wouldn't normally rest your finger on there. So you've got like a menu button and like a start button on right and left hand. And then even the top of the analog sticks will register your finger resting on it as being down. So it's just kind of crazy, like that they put that many sensors in all those different places. And then otherwise, it's just like a broken into Xbox controller, more or less like button wise.
Right.
Anyway, so that's that. Headset is the headset. I mean, like I said, you plug it into your machine with a HDMI and a USB 3.0 or 1. Probably 1 is better if you have that port. Ask me how I know.
How do you know?
Because mine didn't work on the USB 3 port, so
It
I
didn't?
had to throw an add-on card in there.
Oh, wow.
I had to put a 3.1 card in there for it to register correctly. And otherwise, it was like it would drop sound. Sometimes it
I'm
wouldn't
glad
come
my
on at all.
motherboard has that.
Yeah. So, and then the little sensors just go in USB ports, and like I said, you can put as many of those as your computer can handle, basically.
256.
That might be the max. I don't know. There probably is a theoretical max. I mean, because at a certain point, if you've gone all the way around you, why would you need more?
You need 365 of them to function properly, so you need 2 USB hosts.
Oh, okay. Then otherwise, like setting up the thing, I want to remark because like the setup process is so well done. Like I'm super impressed with like how it guides you through the setup process. Like first it's like, okay, plug things in. Cool, I can see them. They're functioning properly. Then it's like, can I see the touch controllers? Yes. All right, stand in like the center of your play area and push a button. And it's like, okay, I've basically marked this as the center of your play area. And then without the helmet on, it asks you to hold down the trigger on the touch controller and walk around your play area. So you can walk around a chair, coffee table, whatever, and like basically like create a safe zone. That's like where you can actually walk around and not in fear of hitting anything. Obviously, the more space you have, the more flexible and crazy you can go with it. But I mean, I don't have a huge play area, but it was more than enough to like paint out a triangle area, and it was like, cool, you're good. And then once you put the headset on, it basically will throw up a grid when you get close to it. So like a little sort of like transparent grid will come up, and even when you're like reaching out, it's like, hey, hold up, you're about to hit something in the real world inside, by walking forward that you can't see. And it's very unobtrusive, and it's just like, yep, you're getting close to something, you might want to stop. And then I think it like gets more solid that if if you're like, no, forget it, I'm still going forward.
I'm going to walk into my TV.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's basically the setup. And then the you calibrate the headset, which is basically positioning it up and down on your head so that a certain line is clear, and then you've got a little toggle switch which basically just moves the screens in closer or further away from your nose, like the bridge of your nose, and that's what will basically get it 100% in focus. So you just do that, and then it's like, cool, now we're going to teach you how to use the controller. Push all the buttons, point at this, and then you get teleported to this cool little room where it's basically like
The sex room.
try out the best of like VR. You're like in this weird camper RV thing, and there's all this tech shit around you, and you like make this little robot come to life, and you wave at it, and it comes out. It's like, cool, I'll give you stuff, and you basically, he gives you these little floppy disks that you put in a 3D printer, and then it prints up like shit you can play with, like a gun and little shakers and shit.
Just
like that.
prints up a gun.
Well, that's what everyone's worried about, 3D printing guns. And this game was like, yeah, that's a thing. Here, watch, we'll do it. And then eventually it's like, all right, you've learned the basics. Now we're going to teleport you to the Oculus Home, which is a little 3D home space that you stand in, and you've got your game menus and all that kind of shit. And it's just like a launcher, but it's pretty.
Yeah. So, one thing, this is all through the Oculus Store. Because
It is a separate app. Like,
Yeah, because Steam VR, completely different setup process.
yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
So, Steam, like I said, I remarked on how to set up the Oculus because it's so good. Like, so here's the weird thing, because the Oculus is like the brains behind everything. Even if you're going to use a third-party VR app like Steam or even like homemade things or going into YouTube or whatever, you've got to open up Oculus, the program, just leave it running in order, because it will drive the brains of everything. So, fire up Oculus, minimize it, fire up Steam, and it immediately prompts you to do essentially the same thing. Like, here, stand here and paint the play area in your room. The problem with the Steam one, now, it's in beta, so forgive it if you will, but it fucking sucks. I'll tell you that right now. In the same sort of vein as is that you go around the play area painting it, but it's like old school paint, like where if you want to draw something and you accidentally let go or you come out of sensor range, it breaks the line you were creating. So you're trying to sit there and draw around your room, and if at any point in time it's like, I've lost communication or you turned wrong and I can't see the sensor, you got to start over. And it has to have a certain size or else it won't let you progress. So that's the other part, is like getting it to paint out plus making sure it's big enough that it fits their minimum rectangle area is like, I was really having to like go outside my realms a little bit. Like, it just wanted a bigger space than Oculus did, which I thought was stupid.
Yeah.
And it has to be like a perfect square. So if you fuck up again and like draw in a little divot, it actually won't let you correct that. You have to start all over again. So it's a pain in the ass.
Gee, it's almost like you can tell they fired their entire VR department.
Yeah. But see, the
Did they
Vive,
fire their entire VR department?
Reassigned their entire
the Vive is basically Steam VR. I mean, like they that's basically their VR machine. I'm like, so they're in, like they're pushing the Vive very heavy on Steam.
So they're basically breaking the Oculus to do it.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if the Vive just has a better setup and they're like, we'll make the Oculus one shitty so that people will want both or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
If it's that shitty on the Vive, I can't even imagine that being your first experience to like, here's how you set up your VR. It's just night and day. Like how nice the Oculus Store is versus what the...
Yeah, and that bummed me out because I wanted... Adrift is one of the games that I think where you shared it through my Steam library.
Right.
So you have that as one of your VR games, but we never got to play it because the whole Steam setup sucked so bad that we didn't get there.
But yeah, anyway, let's talk about some games because that's enough.
Yeah,
that's enough about the hardware
games.
part.
That's what we talk about here.
So
Sometimes.
I'll start with what I started with, which was Robo Recall, which is what I tried at the Best Buy demo. It's one of the bundle games that they give you as part of Oculus. Apparently, that bundle is shifting its games in like the first or second week of August. They're like Robo Recall will still be in there, but I think like every other one was dropped. Like, and they've replaced them. Like, I actually think the game selection is better. coming up soon. Like you get Robo Recall, which is probably the best one of what they give you. They throw in Super Hot VR, Wilson's Heart, which is the other one a lot of people are talking about in VR, and then like several of the other big titles like like VR Climb or something like that.
Man, it's super hot.
I'm probably still going to pick that up. I just haven't yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
that sucks that it's not included if you own Super Hot.
Yeah,
like it's a separate, but it is also apparently the whole. I mean, the storyline's probably the same, but the levels are different.
Yeah. So
we'll see.
Yeah, a little bit of a shame, but yeah. So if you're on the fence, I would say wait like another maybe even a week by the time this comes out, because like I think the bundle games are gonna be better. Yeah. So Robo Recall, that's the first one I started with. It's made by Epic / Oculus. Like they've got Oculus Studio, which probably just means they threw some money at Epic and said make this. I doubt they actually have much in the way of in-house production. I don't know. But yeah, so here's the thing. I should come clean about something to do with VR. And this is going to be like kind of an analogy for people that have been around for a certain period of time. To me right now, VR feels like when you got a CD-ROM when they first came out. Like, everything's cool and it's shiny and it's new and like suddenly there's voice acting and real music and everything. But on a game level, it's not the same as like the games you were playing.
Right.
Yeah. Like you were playing a lot of on rails things and point-to-point puzzle things like Seventh Guest. You know, it wasn't like, because of the read speeds on the CD-ROM, they weren't doing a lot of like direct one-to-one interaction. It's better with VR, but like Robo Recall is an example of what several of them are doing, which is you stand in an area, look around, but then just kind of point and teleport yourself somewhere else, so you're not like first-person walking per se. I mean, I guess there are some ones that do that, but a lot of them, I think that's where you run into the issues of motion sickness. Like, you either play it sitting down and just rely on the head tracking, or, you know, you're just really good at, like, standing there pushing forward and your body is moving forward without your legs doing anything. Like, that can really throw off your equilibrium. So, all that being said, Robo Recall is still very cool. You're presented, you watch this little storyline of what's going on, which is basically robots got zapped for whatever reason, have gone crazy and are attacking people. Yeah. So your job is basically like
murder all robots.
Almost a Blade Runner. Like, you're just retiring a shitload of robots.
Yes.
But what's cool about it is like you can reach out and grab them and dismember them, by hand. You have dual pistols at either side that you actually reach down like you're grabbing a pistol out of your belt and shoot them, and then when they reload, you just toss them and make it makes more. And then eventually you get shotguns like on a back holster kind of thing. So like you're reaching up your shoulder grab and pulling out a shotgun.
That one wasn't as reliable for me.
No. Yeah, I mean
it had a lot of trouble figuring out. Hey, he's reaching behind his back for that gun.
Yeah, I mean I think you just have to,
or maybe it just because it got so frantic that I was not doing it properly.
Yeah, it's like it's that game goes from here's how you play to holy shit in like 3 minutes. Yeah, like it's very quick to like, all right, here's the basics of what you do, and all of a sudden it's like there are 30 robots on the screen all trying to attack you at once in a very short period of time. So I would say like it's a very, very, very cool light gun game that just doesn't happen to use a light gun. That's how I would reckon it, like liken it the most is like that's, don't expect like one-to-one motion. Now, in the middle of a fight, you can point the little thing in whatever direction and teleport. Like if you're getting swarmed, you can be like, nope, get out here, go over here. And so you kind of point in the direction you want to go, and a little circle comes up, and then you spin the thumbstick clockwise, counterclockwise, and you decide which way you're going to face after the teleport.
Yeah.
So that's essentially your movement in the game.
Now, you can also move your head.
You can move your head.
Because you can dodge bullets with your head.
You can actually grab the bullets out of the air and throw them back at the robots, which is crazy and fun.
Yeah.
I didn't get
good enough to do that.
Yeah. But yeah, like, now I said all that, like, and what sold me on this was playing this game at the demo was when I realized, like, the first time they give you the gun, it's like you're in like a safe shooting range, just to try it out. And then when I realized that in VR you could hold the gun up and aim down the sights, the iron sights on the gun, and it was accurate. And I was like, yeah, okay.
And you actually like instinctively close one eye to look down them, and it works.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's kind of freaky.
It's kind of amazing, like how well it works, and that's what 100% sold me on VR in general and the touch controllers in particular. So that's Robo Recall. Like I haven't finished the game. You know, I'm just a lot of my VR experience has been like trying other things, handing the headset off to other people, like seeing what they think. And so like I haven't had like sit down and I'm gonna game with this yet.
And that was the best looking thing.
Yeah,
it's by far. And it was the most fun to play because it felt like those early days of Kinect as well, where it's like, I'm going to bat things down out of the air, you know, and you feel like, you know, you're swinging your arms and the stuff is translating on screen properly and it feels good. There's just no other way to put it. It feels right. But it's also, the whole movement thing, as far as like moving your character and your viewpoint, is what inhibits that game in particular. Because I found myself, as I got further in, being like, okay, I'm surrounded. I need to jump over here.
Right.
But it felt like I found myself wanting to do the instinctive shooter stuff of, all right, I need to start circle strafing and doing that stuff, and you just can't.
No. Yeah. I mean, it's... I don't know what the answer is. Either the notion of treadmill things becomes more normal. I don't know.
But even then, you have to have movement in all directions, you know?
Right, yeah.
So it's tough.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the answer is ultimately.
Yeah.
I think that the telling thing will be having something like Fallout 4 VR come out. And if that is going to be true analog stick walking, like if it's just Fallout 4 but from the first-person view, in the VR view, that will be a thing that will determine where this goes forward.
Is there a Skyrim VR yet?
Not officially.
Why not?
Because it's not as new as Fallout 4, I guess.
They're making it, though.
But they're putting Skyrim on everything.
Yeah, but people have demoed a Fallout 4 VR mode.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't read if it's strictly Fallout 4 or if it's like teleporty move, you know, like
I couldn't even imagine trying to play Fallout 4
in that teleporty thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how that would work, but I'm thinking that most people. I'll talk quickly about another game, like, and I say game, it's more like an exploring thing. Another one of the free ones was called Mission ISS, which is the International Space Station, ISS, just clarifying. And it's very cool. However, it might possibly demonstrate why some of this is difficult, because this is the only game I almost face planted while playing. Because because you can move with the analog stick, but I think it's meant more for like slight adjustments in your trajectory, because like you're in 0G, you're floating around the space station, and just like you watch people on there are grab bars all over the place, so you can reach up, grab them, and then like propel yourself forward. And I was kind of doing a combination of that and the analog stick movement, and within a matter of minutes, I was like, "Whoa, I'm like none of this is right." So either you sit there and play that sitting down, which I think would help immensely, or you're just supposed to sit there and only control yourself via what feels natural, like.
Yeah, well, that's the way I felt playing the Robot Recall, because I kept moving forward or moving back when I was trying to when it got frantic and I was trying to dodge bullets.
Right.
And I kept hitting that not invisible, but that grid that kind of pops up.
Right.
It's like, hey, stop moving.
Yeah. Yeah, you also kept turning around, like all the way around, and that some games are like, yeah, sure, do whatever, I don't care. Like that one is very much like, no, face the sensors, like.
Yeah. Well, there was a robot behind me, which is kind of dumb for them to do that, but. Yeah. In general, they want you facing one direction. Yeah. So I could see why seated would be a lot better idea.
Yeah.
For a lot of them.
Yeah. So I think I don't know the order I fired up things. One of the other ones I grabbed was there's a Spider-Man Homecoming VR experience. It's a glorified ad essentially for the movie, but that's okay because it's still kind of cool.
Yeah. It is pretty cool.
Like they throw you on a rooftop and they're like, "Hey, you've got the Tony Stark Iron Man or Spider-Man suit. It's got all kinds of gadgets. Let's teach you how to use some." So it's like, here's a regular web shooter. Here's like an explosive one. Yeah, just like rapid fire one, all this stuff. And so they're like, knock these things out of the air, or knock this debris out of the way, or rip these posters off the wall, and you're just like chilling out on this rooftop, like, all right, this is kind of cool and all. Explosion happens off the background, and so you're like, all right, let's see what's going on, and you realize that there's like a giant crane standing up above you that you probably hadn't noticed before. And so you web sling up to that, and suddenly you're standing on the edge of this crane with like the city all around you, kind of fucking with your head pretty hard.
It's very disorienting. It's it's when you look down over the edge of anything that's when your brain goes, oh, you dumb fuck, don't do that. Like your brain engages that instinct thing, which when you look over the edge in any other video game, you're like, oh, whatever. See, look, maybe if I jump off, I'll die. That stuff. Where this one, like, my brain was like, no, get away from there, get back, which is such an odd feeling to have, but.
Yeah, but then, a couple other little things happen. I mean, Vulture comes out essentially, and, it's like, a few more seconds and the demo's over, basically.
Yeah, well, at the end, they web sling you down a street. And then, like, you're not in control of it. It's just like, go down that. It swoops you down a street between cars. And that's when my brain was like,
Which is weird, because that's the part of my brain was like, fuck yes, more of this.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it was good, yes. But it was also,
Yeah.
that's the only time that I felt any slight nausea, aside from looking over the edge of a building and being
Right.
20 stories up.
Yep. But yeah, like I said, it's more or less a little demo / ad for the maybe proof of concept of a game later, but I think it's more just like, hey, let's do this and we'll promote
Yeah.
the
I mean,
movie
it's,
more.
10 minutes at most?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have only purchased 2 actual games. I did get a copy of Eve Valkyrie. That was part of the bundle with Best Buy of selling it. I promise I'm not like trying to shill for Best Buy. I'm just saying
That's where you got it.
They threw that game in as on top of the other bundle games. So I played a few minutes of that. It's it's cockpit VR. Like you might as well sit down because like you're just sitting in a cockpit shooting dudes in a spaceship. But it's cool to like look down and see the controls and all that stuff.
Yeah. Real quick, speaking of spaceships, have they done anything with Elite Dangerous?
It is in VR. It's also, I own it in Steam, so I haven't played it yet.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah,
that
they have
makes
it in the
sense.
Oculus store, which probably just work right away. But yeah, I haven't gone there because the Steam thing pissed me
Steam
off so
VR,
much.
yeah.
But you did get it set up through Steam VR, right?
I think I finally got the Steam triangle or rectangle painted without issue.
They call it a Steam Tangle now.
Sure, Steam, yes, an entanglement. But yes, I haven't tried it yet. So I did pick up Star Trek Bridge Crew. Because that was high on my list of things that were like, yes, this is a thing I want to do. I haven't spent a ton of time with it, but it is very cool. In fact, like it's made by Ubisoft, so I don't know if you have to go find space towers to unlock new parts of space.
I was about to ask.
But like when you're playing single player, it's like you're the captain. Like you can jump over and take over basically anyone's position at any point in time, so you can micromanage, I suppose. But like, yeah, pretty much. But it's like as a captain, you kind of have control over all the comms. So it's very much a VR, fully 3D, fully realized and licensed Star Trek game that's very similar to the experience of the thing that we played at Southern Fried Game Room Expo, which is like the USS Artemis thing.
Yeah.
Which is like completely knockoff, completely third-party, independently made, everything Star Trek, but we can't call it Star Trek deal. This is all of that, but like in VR, and the idea of this is actually sit there and play with I think 4 other people or 3 other people. But
are you supposed to play it online with other people,
Yeah.
or are you supposed to somehow get 5 oculi into a room?
There have been, I've like Giant Bomb did a thing where they had 5 people or four people in a room.
Giant Bomb has CBS money, and
Yeah,
nobody else on the
but
planet
they had to
does.
merge like different VR tech to get it to all work. Like some people were on Vive, some people were on
because
Oculus.
the sensors
Yeah.
wouldn't. Yeah.
So
So don't.
you
get
can
5
have 4 people in a room doing it.
Just don't do it because it'll cost you $1 billion.
Right.
Yeah.
You would have to go to like an Artemis Bridge Simulator type thing, and
If
they're
you've
like,
won
"Here,
the
welcome."
lottery,
Yeah,
you can do it.
Yeah, exactly. If you
But
create a VR room,
so that's the other thing. Is like one of the things I didn't realize right away, but like you've got earphones on the Oculus Rift headset itself, but it has a hidden microphone too. So like there is a microphone somewhere on it. I don't know where, but like you can do your standard like voice command bullshit things with it to launch stuff if you want. But that's how you would sit there and play with someone else online too. So
Cool.
Yeah, and I've heard stories of people who like didn't realize they were in a multiplayer game and were just talking and doing stuff,
God.
and then look over, and then the other guy's like, "Yeah, I'm here, man."
I believe didn't
It was Nick Brecken.
Nick Brecken tell that story? Yeah.
Because Nick Brecken always does that sort of dumb shit
yeah, but yeah, I mean,
unintentionally.
it's very cool to like have Star Trek comm panel things that you reach down and like make an index finger go boop, 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 and like all right, engage, do the thing. But I mean it's cool because like they gave you some, well, I say tactile, but tactile in a VR environment things too. It's not just all flat comm panels. Like there are buttons on the captain's chair for like various high level things, like red alert is right there, and answer a hail, that kind of thing. And then like when you're doing navigation, you've got it's weird because like it's part old school but part like Abrams movies Trek, like where you've got that like thruster thing, like engage, but like with the actual button, thruster throttle thing.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't on like Next Generation and stuff like that. It was
they just had like a little slide.
Like but this like gives you a quote unquote tactile, like grab it and push it forward feel thing. So
I think a real throttle is important for any game where you can throttle.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean
they should make it like a standalone
throttle simulator.
Yeah, that you can have.
Oh no, okay, I got
you. But I mean it's cool because like it's very much like that Artemis thing. Like it's a balancing system. Like you're managing systems and power and things like that. So if you put up the shields, that takes some away from your overall power. If you're firing phasers, that takes away from your power. And then if you have to do repairs and things like that, it's like you're basically like doing like power management essentially. Like, all right, divert power to this, move it over here, put it all to the forward shields and things like that. And but also sometimes finding peaceful solutions, just scanning and talking to people. Like it's not just all kill.
Unlike Artemis, where our peaceful resolution was destroy them.
You could play it that way. It's just that kind of takes away from the Star Trek nature of it all. Anywho, but yeah, it's cool. And like I said, that's a real full ass game. Like you're not feeling chintzy or demo like some of these other things. And when I say chintzy or demo like, I mean the next one I'm going to talk about is Batman Arkham VR, which is started life on the PSVR and then migrated over to Windows as well. It's really, really cool, but it also sort of feels like a demo. It feels demo-ish. I mean, I think that's why it's like only a $20 game. There's not a lot of meat to it, but like what's there is really good.
So that seems to be a common VR thing.
Yeah, I mean,
where it's like they've basically taken the vertical slice demo thing and just said like, we'll ship that.
It's an experience.
Yeah, it kind of is. Like, and this one gives you a reason to play through more than once. Like, it's not just like one and done like the Spider-Man thing. Like, unless you just want to experience it again. Like, this one actually encourages you to go through it multiple times because you play through it once, which is you start off Wayne Manor and like get to like go in the room and push the keys on the piano, like make the bat elevator appear and things like that, and get taken down to the bat cave, and then you actually like get to put on the suit, like, which is cool. Like, first you like reach out and grab the suit, then you grab the helmet and put it on, and then like put your hands in these things and the gauntlets get put on, and and as you're looking at it, like your arms go from Bruce Wayne's arms to Batman arms, and then they give you a
Those
mirror.
are the same arms. I don't know. Spoiler alert.
What? Which one of them has parents?
Neither.
What? Oh, also yes, you get to watch the parents get murdered.
Oh,
in VR.
Good.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
The only way we have not experienced Batman's parents getting murdered is via VR.
I will say, like, the thing that's very
one day they're going to come and murder your own parents and be like, "This is Batman."
Yeah, this is the ultimate Batman move right here.
It's truly augmented reality.
Right.
The weird thing about it, and like what's a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? It's just not off-putting, but awkward. Is like when you're doing that section, you're little Bruce Wayne height. So like you're standing there, like you've got all set up for all this, and then suddenly it's like you're 3.5 foot tall, 4 foot tall.
Yeah.
You're like,
well, that is the appropriate height for getting your parents murdered.
But it's not like you move. It's just like all of a sudden it's like, I'm tall. I'm tiny. I'm watching parents. I don't know. It's just it's weird and kind of disorienting a little bit. So anyway, but then like it takes place in the Arkham Asylum / City universe. So I think you're dealing with some events from Arkham City in this mostly.
Okay.
Because like, I don't know. I don't want to spoil any of those games, but like certain characters are gone but haunting you, sort of, and there's some toxin / virus things going around. So if any of that makes sense, what kind of what time period it's taking place in.
Yeah.
So you're kind of going through and like you do some crime scene investigation type things where you've got a little medical scanner, so you're kind of like doing that, but like in a VR world. So like you
much
get to,
better.
Yeah, you get to like lean your head around and like, oh, there's the bullet fragment. Let's scan that, and not so much with combat. Like you get to do a couple batarang type throws, but like no punchy bits or anything like that. But it's all just like a chance to like mess with your head. Like by the end, like where it's your own head / possibly scarecrow. Like there's some weird shit happening by the end that's like pretty cool. And then when you get through the whole experience, it's like, hey, play it again. Now we have Riddler trophies.
Oh.
But it's fucking awesome way.
Okay.
Like in VR, it's like
You got me back in.
no, it's cool. It's cool as shit because like you suddenly realize all the weird things that you were like very unnaturally having to move the camera in the regular Arkham games. Like now you just go, you look up and you're like, oh shit, what's that? I bet that's part of a Riddler trophy. And then they're like, hold this thing here and like, okay, complete the question mark and suddenly thing appears. It's very cool. Like the Riddler trophy aspect in VR. So.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean overall, like I said, I feel like I've tried to like sample, more so than like really get in and like play some games or have some experiences.
Yeah.
So yeah, hoping like next quarters I will like be able to say like.
But you're not regretting the purchase.
No, not at all. Like not even in the slightest.
That's good.
I haven't even tried it, but I just found an app that a lot of people are talking about. I think it's called Big Screen, which is the one where it's like, hey, use your computer in VR in like weird ways, like actually use your desktop or watch a video, but like you're sitting in a virtual movie theater.
Oh,
so like,
it's like those scenes in Disclosure.
So
we had to find the files in VR.
Oh, okay. I don't remember this.
Oh man, Disclosure was.
I love the
hot
90s
VR.
Yeah,
bullshit.
I love 90s VR because it was like, what's the least efficient way to do something? We should do that in VR.
Yeah.
It's like, no, the future sucks. What have you done?
No, I mean, everyone says this is awesome, like sitting there, like watching your videos, but like sitting in a virtual movie theater, like be like, I want to sit in that seat, and then like you're watching a 300-inch screen with your video playing.
What would be nice is to be able to just like put the video off to one side in a place that's sort of like impossible in the real world because you can never have a monitor mount that'll put it in a convenient place to watch a video while you're also working on stuff that matters.
Yeah.
I'm sure there will be, a workspace version of that at some point. I don't know. They just some caveats like they're more than like an hour with that thing on your face, and you're probably not going to be regretting some things because, like, number one,
I've made bad choices.
Well, I mean, like, okay, so you've got two screens in there that tend to warm up a little bit. I mean, not
it does get warm.
Not burn your retinas off, but like it gets a little warm in there.
Yeah.
And plus, just having a thing strapped to your face with no airflow going around your eyes, it's like room for getting sweaty in there too. So.
Yeah, and then there's a little gap by your nose that I noticed before, like when it's all dark, you notice it, but once the thing is running, you don't notice it at all.
Yeah.
And I mean, I couldn't wear glasses with it. It just didn't feel comfortable, at least with the style of glasses I have. So I had to take them off, but I guess I'm lucky because I'm nearsighted. So that didn't, I could just wear it anyway because the stuff's barely in front of my eyes.
Right.
But I also noticed the field of view, like in menus and stuff, always feels like they're like you're in the first row of a movie theater looking at the screen. Like they want that effect, I think, so that you have to look back and forth.
Oh, Bridge Crew is even like doubly so. I mean, like it is very much like making it look like you're sitting at this console, which is right in front of you.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. But like, with the Spider-Man Homecoming, when just the logo screen is up, the logo menu or whatever, and it's like not everything fits in your field of view. It's like, guys, you don't need to do it that way. And that stuff also made me notice the screen door effect a little bit. But once games were running, like that was completely not an issue anymore for me.
Yeah.
So it seemed like static stuff. It was like, eh. So I could see like working on a computer being because you're going to see that screen door more. But once things are in motion, it doesn't matter in the least. It's kind of like jaggies in a game. Like when you see a screenshot of something like Neo, you're like, oh, jaggies, what the fuck? That game looks terrible. But then when you're running and playing it, you don't even notice that shit at all.
Yeah.
Unless you're like specifically trying to look for it. So, yeah. It made me less skeptical about VR, I'll tell you that. Because it was like, okay, yeah, this shit works.
Yeah, I played around with the sculpting thing. That was my experience. I wanted something where I didn't have to like dodge robot bullets or something. I wanted to just experience how the movement of the controllers worked and how it felt to kind of look around stuff.
Yeah, Medium. That's what it's called.
Medium.
It's another like Oculus Studio thing.
It's really cool. I made a donut.
That's
and
true.
then Chuck ruined my donut by showing up.
I had no bearing on the failure.
You
of your
showed up
donut.
and broke my donut.
crashed
No,
as
you
soon
put
as
one too
Chuck
many
showed
sprinkles on that donut. The donut exploded.
Sprinkle overload.
But no, medium is really cool. Like, I really like stuff like that where you can just sort of play around with things and manipulate objects in a 3D space.
Yeah, I mean, even like Google Earth is cool in VR. Just like being able to point somewhere and be like, and like just move yourself over to it is pretty nifty.
It's neat.
Can't you float in the air in that? Like,
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
above a city, kind
You
of.
feel pretty much like you're floating above. I
Yeah.
mean, because Google Earth doesn't really do street view. I mean, you can get down, but you're still hovering. Like,
Yeah.
you're like a low flying drone at best.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, VR games. Mm-hmm. They're all right.
I will talk more about them next time, but not. It will be briefer because, I don't have to explain the whole deal.
Mm-hmm. So, should we talk about games we've actually completed?
Sure.
I platinumed Neo.
Jesus.
Platinum trophy.
Is it a hard platinum trophy or is
Yes.
it just... Oh, okay.
It is a time-consuming platinum trophy.
All right, then.
Yeah. And I love that trophies take a screenshot of when you achieved your thing. I don't love it when the thing that you achieved is like visit the blacksmith 60 times, which is what mine was. Like I actually got the one for beating all the missions in the game before I got that one. Because the blacksmith one is basically like a farming thing where you have to sell enough stuff to buy enough things there to have spent enough money to have been able to make requests for discounts and that sort of stuff, which is you have to do 60 of those. And that one was by far the most time consuming. So yeah, my platinum trophy is accompanied by a picture of an old man smithing a sword in Neo. And I was like, yeah, when I post that on Twitter, I'm not going to include the screenshot. Thanks. It's not like, a thing exploding into a loot pinata like some of the other cool ones I got were. But yeah, I beat that. I beat the Dragon of the North DLC, finally, which was not easy at all and has one of the cheaper bosses in the game at the very end of it. Because I think last time I had gotten the first boss of that and was just getting shelled over and over and over. And then for some reason, I just like had a good run and just murdered him. Like I was able to get behind him or something and get high damage stuff and just killed him. I was like, all right. And just kind of continued from there, getting good, as the kids say about those types of games.
Good job.
Yeah, and then they put out a new DLC literally the day after I platinumed the game. They put out one called Defiant Honor, which is more levels.
Okay.
Yeah, just basically a new area, which, man, the first mission of that can fuck off because it's one of the least fun things I've ever played. Because what you are is you're trying to navigate your way through a battlefield where you're sieging a castle, and they are firing volleys of flaming arrows at the battlefield. So when you first walk into the mission, you hear a gong, and then suddenly there's, the whole rain of arrows like in 300 coming down at you, and there's bamboo like barriers that people have built, so you have to kind of like run to each one to get into the level. Which, you start out, you're like, all right, yeah, I get it, timed. And then you get in the trenches, and you can move around the trenches because they can't fire down into there. And then you get to one where every barrier you have has enemies behind it. And enemies are not like, all right, I hit him once and he's dead. Like, you have to fight the enemies. And while these volleys of arrows are coming that somehow don't hit the enemies, but they hit you, and basically you die if you get hit by them. Because one hits you, and then the other one's like, because you're stunned, it goes hit, and then you're dead. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, so you do that. You finally get that, and you probably have, I'd say, maybe 10 seconds between volleys at most, which means you have to kill the guy, wait, run to the next barrier, kill that guy, wait, run to, and keep going. The third section, and granted, as you're doing this, you are finally finding a cannon that shoots them and stops the arrows from coming. So once you do that, you can replay that section without having to dodge the arrows. The last section is a section where not only are there enemies behind the barriers, there are volleys of arrows coming, but each one fires a cannonball at the barrier and destroys the barrier after you've done it. So you have to literally get away from the barrier in the time between when the arrows have stopped and when the cannonball has hit, and then run to the next one. And I was just... My PS4 controller is already pretty much fucked Like the left stick is not right anymore, which I guess is a common problem a lot of people have had with their launch DualShock 4s, where it's just like the left stick is just like you'll hold up and your guy will keep doing like this little jerky motion as if he's trying to go, like northeast kind of. So it keeps doing that, which is really, really fun when you have a game that needs this much precision. But I almost snapped that fucking controller by the time the cannonballs had hit me like the 4th time, and I had lost over 1 million credits because I had already died once. So yeah, those mechanics can fuck off. I don't understand the whole like get into basically like the whole timed. All right, if you go out here, the lava's going to kill you. But you got a few seconds to get through it, so do it. And it's like, it's designed that you have to die. Because there's one part where you have to pick up a cannonball that's in the middle of that battlefield. And there is not time to both hide behind the thing, get away from the cannonball, activate the search that gets you the cannonball, and then run to the next area before the other cannonballs hit. Like, it can't be done. So you basically have to have either, like, level to freaking level 500 and have enough health to survive it, or just fucking die and then hope you can get back there again. So it's shitty. I hate it. I don't know why they did that. It made it no fun. For a game where I had been having a lot of fun and killing things. But I mean, eventually I beat that level, but holy Christ. Like, way to just like knock my enthusiasm down so thoroughly with one bad design choice.
Is that it for DLC?
No, there's one more coming. Okay. Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, I'm playing through the rest of that DLC, but there's obviously the DLC has all sorts of trophies. They're all bronze, even though one of them is basically you beat the game, you get a new game plus, and then there's a new game plus that was unlocked with the first DLC, and one of those trophies is to beat the new game plus. Basically beat the game for a 3rd time, go through the storyline a 3rd time, and with obviously increasing difficulty each time. So for some reason they added that, but they only give you 15 or whatever it is, a bronze trophy for it. So,
lame.
I know that shit doesn't really matter, but
still kind of
still, it's kind of like that carrot on the stick where it's like, yeah, I did all this stuff, and then it's like, yeah, well, here's this thing that's going to take you like another 100 hours, so good luck. but I got my platinum, so I'll take that. I do wish that the Xbox had platinum trophies.
Well, they have that rare trophy thing.
Yeah, they do, but I mean, the platinum's like a very easy way of going, okay, this is how many games I've completed.
Yeah.
It's an easy at a glance thing to look at. And
like when you hit 1,000, they should just, I don't know,
change the color or something.
Yeah, give it a different icon.
And DLC doesn't even count towards that. Like DLC is a separate category, which I'm totally fine with. Because not everyone wants to buy DLC for games. A lot of people just get their completion and go, all right, I'm done with this. It's cool, but later. But yeah, so I've beaten Neo. I'm gonna beat the DLC, and then I'm probably gonna try and play something else. I probably should before the end of the year, or else my photos are gonna be like, well, I played Neo, so I guess that's number
Neo,
1
so...
and number 5 and number 2, 3, and 4 too.
Best character, Neo.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I will be playing something else because if I don't, my wife might divorce me between now and then. So.
Oh, the sword game.
Yeah. She keeps going, how long have you been playing that? And I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't have a counter. It totally has a fucking counter. And I'm at 180 hours.
Oh,
but I didn't want to say that.
Nice.
Yeah. But anyway, Harlow.
Yeah.
You beat something.
I did. When I was spending time outside of in actual reality and playing regular-ass games, I decided to beat Ghost Recon Wildlands. I didn't platinum it because I don't give a shit.
I know.
And I just finished the story, essentially. There's plenty of other guns and gun parts and whatever things you can pick up that I don't care about. But yeah, I finished the main game, which still took me a while. I didn't look at a final time count, but here's what's funny is like there are 2 different endings for the game. One, like, because you can go after the main drug dude without having taken down his entire organization. Like, he will appear, I think, when you've... Sort of like Just Cause. Like, when you've hit, like,
You had a
certain percent of his organization is taken down, he will present himself and basically give you access to the final mission. But then you get like a slightly different ending if you've 100%ed his organization and then take him out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I could have done that. I just totally clicked on the wrong next mission.
Oh.
Like I had one mission left to clear out an area, and I saw like it's the same symbol as like a crown when you're going to take out the leader of an area. So I had one last leader, and the crown that came up, I accidentally went after the final guy instead of the leader for that area. So it was like I beat the final guy, and then got like the last 1 or 2% completion after that. So I kind of fucked up a little bit, but it's okay. I could go. You can replay any mission you want, so I could go beat him again and see the other ending.
Right.
And it wasn't that hard of a level, really. So I may do that. I just kind of hit that point where I was like, all right, I think I'm done with this for a little while. I've played a lot of Ghost Recon Wildlands.
But if people were to invite you to a multiplayer game, you'd probably do it.
Oh yeah, because I mean it's also just a good dick around game. You know, like get in there with friends and like just do stupid
Just blow shit up.
Yeah, I will say from like it was funny. Like they put out a fairly substantial patch like the day of or the day before I finished it. Like I played that game for I'd say probably 100 hours. I don't know what my final tally is. I didn't really look. And a lot of people complain that the helicopter flight in there is broken or weird, but I became a fucking master at it.
Yeah.
And the patch came in and completely simplified the way helicopters work, and now I'm fucking terrible at them. Because now they work like you would think most video game helicopters would work, which is simply your two triggers, raise and lower, you know, up and down, and then you just push in the direction you want to go. So, like, much more simplified, whereas the old one was, yeah, the
flew more like a real helicopter.
yeah, like you would go up with the thing, but then with the trigger, but then you kind of like push forward and like sort of start yourself into forward momentum, and then it sort of hits a certain point where it's like, yeah, you're now going forward, and you're actually by pushing down, you're making it kind of pitch down, and then you just let go and hold down the trigger, and you're just flying forward at the same altitude. So I just got to where I could fly like a foot off the ground, you know, like with that old one, and now I'm not particularly great at flying helicopters. So to me, they took a little bit of the fun out of it because I'd gotten so good at flying the helicopters from like having started that game to like, how does this work? I'm crashing all the time. To now I'm like ace helicopter, or was ace helicopter pilot prior to the patch. So
I wonder, there's no
like,
option that you can turn on previous
like legacy
helicopter
mode. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I need to dig in there and look, but I still enjoyed the game. It's weird to me that there is as much story in that game as there is. You know, like your character that you're playing is kind of generic man or lady, doesn't matter. But like other than that, like would you have a game like that where your main character is customizable, a secondary kind of character kind of becomes the main character because you know there's only so much you can write for main person to say or do. So you kind of got this CIA lady who becomes like the main character of the story, more or less. And you're just like her agent of death, if you will. I mean, really, because she's just like, yeah, we got to lie on some things. They probably need to die. Go in there and take care of that. So, yeah, but no, I quite enjoyed the game.
And you're complete with it.
Well, yeah. I mean, story wise, I mean, there's like at least 2 DLCs out there. I haven't decided if I need more Wildlands or not.
Yeah, aren't there like multiple season passes now, or is that a different
I think that's
Ghost
Siege.
Recon game?
I think Siege has
Okay.
multiple seasons or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I forgot about Neo, real quick.
Okay.
They added Tonfa
Yes.
in the new DLC.
Oh, like Night Six.
Police
Yeah.
brutality DLC.
Yes, I can do twin stick arms of justice on dudes. Just beat demons to death with a stick.
That's actually my fighting
2
style.
sticks. Your fighting style?
It's twin stick arms of justice.
Yes.
I've heard the Narco Road DLC is pretty good, so I'm considering it because I heard the storyline of that is pretty good. Yeah. And one of them apparently adds in a sort of an Easter egg motorcycle somewhere that's literally like a llama chopper. Like you actually get to ride on a llama that's turned into a motorcycle because they're a llama running throughout the game.
Weird.
What?
All right.
There are like the animal llamas running
Yeah.
throughout the game,
Uh-huh.
and then like there's this weird like
With wheels?
like a llama that's its legs together are motorcycle wheels.
The normal llamas that run around the game don't have wheels.
No. Yeah, the regular llamas are just llamas, but there is apparently a llama motorcycle somewhere in one of the DLC, like in this one village. I've seen video of it. It's pretty fucking weird and like kind of makes me want to
And
ride on it.
you want it?
Yeah.
I know that I want to play this game. I also know that it's going to be one of those games that is going to give me trouble in my sleeping and professional life. Because I will play it too much.
Probably.
That's a good thing, though.
Is it?
No, not really, but
Yeah.
I just like saying that. So, speaking of good things,
Yes.
it's BJ's Streaming Corner.
All right.
Mondays at 9 Eastern.
Twitch.tv/NoQuartersNet.
Yep.
We've had a little bit of a bumpy ride in the last month and a half, just due to many issues.
Just due to many issues.
Yeah. It's my problems are myriad.
Yeah.
But I've completed some games on stream, and if you watch the stream, then you already know about these. But I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about them now, in case you don't watch. And if you don't, well, then you should feel ashamed. But you will at least
They're
be
all archived on youtube.com/NoQuartersNet.
They are. You will at least be informed and ashamed after this. But I played Firewatch, which is an indie walking simulator about being a
Fire Watchman.
fire watchman in
Forest lookout.
a forest lookout. That's it. In the Shoshone National Wildlife Forest Refuge Center.
Yeah. It's not really about that.
I mean, it is about that, but it becomes about something else. It becomes more about your character, and he's an idiot.
Becomes about what kind of man you want to be.
Yeah, the only thing is, it's not about what kind of man you want to be. It's about what little tweaks can you make to the type of man that Henry, the main character, is. Because you don't get to decide that Henry is going to be like a good guy or a bad guy. You just get to guide. You know, it's like you're on a giant ocean liner or something. You can't turn it all the way around. I mean, theoretically you can, but you can't just like, you're not going to turn the ship all the way around in one go. You can make tiny adjustments to the direction that you're going. So it's a little bit off-putting in that way, that you can't really like, your inclination, a lot of people's inclination in games is to just like be the best thing. Like it's a power fantasy type. I'm going to be the best. I'm going to do all the right things. I'm going to
Like no one ever was.
yes. Okay. I'm going to kick all the ass and take all the names, and I'm going to be a hero and be a good dude or lady. And this doesn't allow you any of that agency. It just allows you to make decisions based on how Henry is.
Well, it's very much, most of the guys working on it worked on Walking Dead Season 1,
Yes.
which was a series of like, all right, which shitty choice is the less shitty choice? And this is similar in that regard, in that it's like, which one is the less scumbaggy choice, almost,
Yeah,
with Henry? But
I guess. I mean, he's not a total scumbag.
Well,
He's
yeah,
just,
and I guess that's not even fair to
he's
say
just
it that way.
a really flawed human being, like most of us are.
Well, and he's also in a really shitty situation,
Yeah.
you know?
So it's weird. That game had me fucked up for days.
Yeah.
Because for one, the way it ends just is difficult. I mean, it's not super heartbreaking. It's just the game sort of tries to build you up to the eventuality of something, and it unceremoniously snatches it away at the very end.
Yeah.
It's gone homish in that regard, where it kind of leads you down a path of, I think I understand what's up here, and then you're like, oh no, maybe not.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't.
It's not a direct one-to-one, but it's a similar, like, it kind of builds like this tension and theme of maybe this is what's up, and then you find out what's up and you're like, oh, that's not what it was at all.
Yeah.
That was just you running wild in your brain.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's that stuff, but there's also how you attempt to resolve things with Delilah by the end of it. You know, that matters a great deal too. And to me, felt like the more important part than all of the conspiracy stuff that you're trying to figure out over the course of the game.
Yeah. But it's good. I mean, it's definitely a good experience. It just messed me up because it made me think about far too many things. You know, there were a lot of things that I could kind of somewhat relate to, and sorry, pregnant pause. There were a lot of things that I could somewhat relate to, and it just was really good at making feelings happen. For lack of a better way to put it.
It's mature in a good way.
Yes. Yeah.
And not in a childish, mature way.
Right.
As most video games that consider themselves mature are actually mature in a very childish manner.
Rated M for poop.
Mm-hmm.
Right. No. It's not like that at all. This is rated M. Well, it's not rated M, but it's rated. It's a mature game because you have to deal with grown-up ass shit.
Mm-hmm. Rated BM.
Yes.
Ew.
So the speaking of immaturity and a mature or a fake maturity,
Mm-hmm.
The next game that I completed was Uncharted 2. We had some issues with BioShock and some other stuff, and so a few things got pushed out, and Uncharted got pushed in a couple times to substitute for other games that I wasn't able to play, and then it got voted in to finish it. So I finished Uncharted 2, and Uncharted 2 is more Uncharted. It's not a whole lot different. It's a little bit prettier. The set pieces are a little bit bigger. The I think it's a little bit longer than Uncharted, the first. There are more ladies in it.
Well, my feeling is it's better because of the variety of locations and levels. The levels don't all feel the same or one of three templates like Uncharted 1 did.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, you do move around quite a bit, but like the snowy portion was really cool because it was something that you really didn't have in the first.
Mm-hmm.
They added more and different bad guys, but the combat in that game still sucks balls. So it's not, if you're playing on anything above easy, it's not fun. Like the first, if you just played Uncharted and you're comfortable with the combat, then the first half of the game is going to be kind of a breeze because the combat's the same and the enemies aren't super tough. But you get towards the second half of that game, and anytime you see low walls everywhere, you're like, oh, great, here comes some more combat. Whoop-de-fucking-do. And they add in some stuff where you have to go get an RPG and shoot this thing, and
yeah, that part was frustrating until you figure it out.
Yeah,
with the helicopter.
Well, the helicopter, and then the tank, and then there's some like enemy units that require lots of explosives to kill the guys that carried the GAU, the miniguns.
Did you like it more than Uncharted 1, though?
I don't know. I think I liked it about the same.
No.
I think it was about the same. I mean,
do you think that's a case of just like time has aged games away from what that game is?
I don't know. Like
you're also playing the remastered trilogy, right?
Right.
So there's probably not. It's not as obvious that there's a jump in like quality from 1 to 2 because they kind of even them all out.
They are as good a version of those games as they can be.
Yeah.
Right now, anyway. I mean, I like them. I want to play Uncharted the Third, and I will play it eventually. I don't know. I don't see a massive improvement from like systems wise because graphics aren't that big of a deal because I wouldn't be able to tell anyway.
Yeah.
But systems wise, it's almost exactly the same. There is probably nothing that changed. The aiming is still super floaty. Some of the stuff they make you do as far as like run and gun or run and jump and climb is maybe a little bit worse because they like to do, for some reason, to make things more difficult, they're doing camera tricks as opposed to making it difficult. They just make it harder. They don't make the controls or the jumps more difficult. Like, they don't make tough jumps. They make jumps that are tough because you can't see the direction. Like, you can't. They switch you from one camera angle to another, so it's harder. It's just harder to see. And because it's harder to see, it's harder to time and harder to move. So they do that instead of making things like actually difficult, and that's just frustrating because you're running one direction and all of a sudden they switch your camera angle. Like, it's one of the things towards the end of the game. You're running across this bridge and the bridge is collapsing sort of in front of you and behind you and where you are, everywhere. And you're trying to jump across these gaps that, where pieces of the bridge have fallen away. And you're running one direction and a hole opens up, and then they swap the camera angle to you're running towards the camera instead of away from it, and it completely messes with your ability to do that. And that's a Metal Gear Solid gimmicky kind of thing. Like, it's gimmicky. It's not difficult for actual reasons. It's difficult because they just decided to do a tricky thing. Like, I don't know why they did that. There's no point in that sort of thing. It's just, haha, look at what we did. So things like that are worse. The ending is also maybe a little less satisfying as well. Like, I believe I complained about the QuickTime ending of the last one, which is, you have that fight with the dude near the helicopter, which is bullshit. This final fight, like, you're basically kiting a guy around and shooting explosive things near him. So you just run around in circles and shoot. Run around in circles, shoot the spot when the guy runs by it, run around in circles some more, shoot the spot when the guy runs by it. It's kind of especially compared to the other firefights, it's just like, and it's so unsatisfying.
Well said.
Good point.
Yeah, I mean,
no, I know what you mean though.
That's the feeling that I got. I was like, oh, that's how we're gonna end this game. Okay, fart noise.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it sounds like a weird comparison, but it reminds me of how I felt playing Bloodborne, where it was like just waiting for them to do the one thing so that you could run up and hit them once and then get away without taking damage. Where it's just like, it becomes a matter of going, all right, he's doing that shit. I just got to stay out of the way. All right, now he's finally where he needs to be. All right. And then, and then it's just a matter, it's this war of attrition where you're just like, fucking A, just die already. And you get so bored of it because you're just waiting for this one thing to happen. And you can't do much else besides that.
Yeah. It's less boredom and just the fact that that's the fight. Like, this is the thing that I have to do. After all of this shit, like, pregnant pause again, all of the driving on, mountain cliffs and jumping here and there and all this crazy bullshit. I'm just running around in circles, just running from this guy and shooting a wall, basically, to make a thing happen. Like, there's nothing epic or interesting about that.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't end your games on a fart noise.
Yeah.
It's just it's bad. Like the fights to get up to that point were a lot more difficult and interesting, even though I didn't like them. They're way more difficult and interesting than this. Like, all I had to do, like, I started running around, was like, oh, there's that blue shit that explodes. Okay, bang. Okay, now I get a cutscene, a 3-second cutscene when I shoot that stuff, so that's what I'll keep doing. Kept doing it, and achieved victory. It was just dumb. Just dumb. But, that being said, I like the game in general. I mean, the Uncharted games are good so far, and I will play the third. Just to see, like, I hope that some things actually improve with Uncharted 3, but who knows what'll actually happen? We'll find out. Maybe we'll find out Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/NoQuartersNet.
Yep.
And then one other thing that I played on stream, because newsflash, I have a personal computer now, so we may be opening up some possibilities for doing some different things on the Monday night live streams. But I was just testing it out after I'd finished Uncharted and started playing some Kerbal Space Program, which is a game that I have long desired to play. And it is... I've only played maybe an hour of it and just gone through like the tutorial stuff, but it is ticking all of those boxes that I wanted it to tick. Because I like space things, and I've watched some people play this and do weird, funky space stuff, and I would never qualify for any sort of astronaut activity at all.
No?
No.
Huh.
I'm too handsome to be an astronaut, they told me. And and also too dumb. But that's
Well,
I'm
yeah.
sure that's secondary or tertiary, perhaps. But
How you know what that word means?
it was just written down in my notes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, somebody wrote it for me. But it ticks all those boxes I want ticked in a weird sort of spaceship simulator thing. It's really neat, and it's also kind of cute with the little Kerbals or Kerbins or whatever their names are.
Until you
Jed.
kill them.
Well, I mean, when you kill them, they're off the screen, so you can't tell if they're not cute anymore.
Oh.
There's just more of them to love. They're in pieces all over the place.
Right. There's more surface area of them to love. But yeah, I actually look forward to playing more of that. And since I have bought plenty of Steam games in the past, and also there's some hot Steam library sharing action, I have plenty of games to choose from. So
Hooray.
we have a deep deeper pile of shame now than we did before. So
Nice.
I should repair my PC so you have an even deeper pile.
yes, you don't actually have to repair your PC.
No, you do have to log in on it, I believe, to
Oh, do you?
authorize the Steam account.
Oh, you have to. Okay,
the
you
sharing.
just have to authorize it.
No, you would need to log on to his if you want to grant him access.
Right.
He would
Okay.
only need to log on yours if you wanted his games, which
Oh, yeah.
I have like 9 games, and they're all
I
games
probably
you
have all of them.
You don't have Train Simulator 2017 though.
I might. Has it been in a Humble Bundle at some point?
I don't know. I think it went on sale for
Yeah.
like $20.
If there's ever something that's been in a Humble Bundle, chances are
Yeah.
it is in my Steam library right now.
Mackie is a humble bundle.
I know for a fact I do not have it because it is always the item that comes up when I get an alert saying that an item on my wish list is for sale.
Why do you have Train Simulator?
I was hoping someone would just gift it to me.
Oh, Chuck.
But that was like 3 years ago when I gave a shit about Steam, and
Yeah.
so now it's just I was like, oh, there must be a Steam sale because I've been alerted that Train Simulator is on sale.
Oh, that game is so dumb. I love it so much. I will play it. I'll play it on stream.
That's when you need a VR lever for.
Yes, it is.
VR
Yeah.
throttle.
You need a real ass VR throttle for that.
Thrust
a
master.
real ass VR throttle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Real ass VR throttle.
You need one that has a sensor so you can see it in VR, but you can also reach over and physically grab it and ramp that throttle up, son.
Cool.
Goody.
Well, you want to ramp up a break
Yes.
so we can ramp up to the second half?
Yes.
All right, let's do it.
Make that sound stop.
My ears.
So how do I share my Steam with all of you since I have like 500 games and I will never ever play any of them?
We basically have to.
You need to log on to our Steam, authorize our computer,
Oh, okay.
and then log back out.
How many computers can you authorize?
Mm.
Because you're on what, 3 or 4 now?
I might as well
I
just make
was
a
on
generic
yours.
password for it.
I'm on BJ's. I'm on Tommy's.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to reauthorize
Every
it
once in
too.
a while, yeah.
I know that happened with you and me. I was like, "Hey, I want to play this," and it's like, "You need to authorize that for you." And I was like, "Oh,
Oh.
Well, BJ now has
why did
my
Harlow
Steam.
boot me?"
We both use Dashlane, so I just shared my password with him.
Ah.
So if I change it, it's like he'll have the updated one.
I guess I could do that.
Do you use Dashlane too?
No,
Oh,
I could use Dashlane.
it's a password
It's
manager.
a WWF pay-per-view.
Dashlane is like $35 a year. Also, just fair warning. If you want anything to sync ever.
Nah. Yeah. Are we doing extra after this, or do you need more time?
I watched them.
Okay.
I watched that fucking bullshit.
I forgot to ask.
Fucking piece of shit.
Whoa.
So should I drink some citrus drop?
Yeah, put some big K citrus drop in you.
Drops.
Sit drops.
Citrus drops. I might just drink it straight out of the bottle.
Drink some citrus drop.
Yeah.
It smells citrusy. Drop.
Dropped it.
Still some drops. Just gonna let it drop.
There you go. Just milk it.
Percolate. Percolate, son.
All the gas is gonna go back into
Oh.
the bottle.
Oh, shit.
Easy.
Oh man. Woo. 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 All right, so this is a pretty good article on True Achievements.
Yeah.
It's One Man's Trash, Longing for the Days of Movie Tie-In Games.
I'm for that.
Yeah.
I've lamented recently that all those games are gone.
Yeah. Well, those were all our B-tier games.
Yeah.
And every once in a while there was one that was like, Toy Story,
Yeah.
where it was like, holy shit, this game's really good.
Yeah. I hate that they're all mobile games now.
Yeah, that sucks. Pardon me. I've got citrus drop to drop in the recycle bin. What flavor of vape is that? Because it smells like cookies.
It's called.
Cookie Dick.
What is it called?
Cookie dough vape.
There are cookie dough vapes. It is. Oh, it's called Clover. And it's mint and a little bit of chocolate and nicotine.
Hey, Jens is here.
Yeah, Jens has been around.
He hasn't said anything.
checking the chat.
Yens I come around.
I'll probably just make my Steam password our
Standard,
our
yeah.
standard password.
Okay.
Because seriously, there's like 500. I have like 500 Steam games, and they are doing me no bit of good.
All right.
I need to see what my Steam password is. Steampowered.com. See if it'll let me log in. Check my wish list. Which apparently does not have Train Simulator on
You
it.
should totally put it on there. You'll get lots of alerts from Steam.
Nah, I'm good. I get enough alerts for the 60 things I have on it.
Put American Truck Simulator on there. There you go.
I love that I still have to use my old bellsouth.net address
Oh,
as
yeah.
my Steam account login because that's how long I've had it. And Bell South has been gone for, 10 years now?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they won't let you change that account name.
Nope.
I don't use an email for my login name.
Hello, we should log into Steam for a new browser or a new computer.
It's just a
We've
name.
added a new security measure.
go to your phone and do
We just
get code.
Fucking Steam.
I'm old man Steve. I'm here to guide you through logging in.
Steam powered. Don't it figure?
First, you get this here golden pad.
Proceed to Steam. This is a public computer. Be sure to log out. Ooh, look, I have 23 cents on my Steam account. I must have
Whoa.
sold a trading card.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad how many of those I've sold. It's probably bought me like a game.
A game.
Yeah, well, 23 cents at, 50 or 60 things. That adds up
Yeah.
to $15.
Yeah.
I already finished up the citrus drop, so Country Mist is on the
time
menu.
for the country.
Hopefully that's the national anthem of North Korea.
Country mist.
Sorry, didn't mean to bring politics and or thermonuclear annihilation into the podcast.
Nah, it's all right.
All right.
Yeah, so my top 3 things are Pinball Arcade Season 5 Pro Pack,
Uh-huh.
Pinball Arcade Season 6 Pro Pack,
Uh-huh.
Pinball Arcade Season 7 Pro Pack.
Nice.
All $40.
That's a lot.
And then they're like, it's on sale for 10% off. It's like,
Ooh.
you're on Steam, guys. You better rate 50% or more, or I'm not even listening to you. And Glitter Mitten Grove, which, of course, is Frog Fractions 2.
You didn't get that Adult Swim bundle when it was a Humble Bundle?
I guess I didn't.
Oh, I did. I've got it, so it's. In
Oh,
my
no,
life.
I did. I just haven't
Cashed in your key.
Yeah, because you have to actually log into Steam to do it now. You can't
Yeah, it's
do
no
it from
longer
the
that-
browser
no
like
longer
you
that
used to be
click
able
thing
to.
Yeah,
Because that sucks. But hey.
I was gonna say it's in mine if you need Frog Fractions too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I log in, I'll be able to cash it all in. And all the Assassin's Creed games for some reason. When did I make this? Jesus.
That long ago.
Jesus.
Jesus. Jesus.
Jesus.
What was that from? Ghost Hunters or whatever?
That's Scooby Doo.
Yeah,
Scooby Doo
Zach
Face.
Baggins. God.
Scooby Doo Shino Face.
I just love that they're like, we could hear the spirit tell us, and it would be, and the audio's like, he's like, oh, he said, I want your soul. It could clearly,
It's clear as day.
yeah.
With 100,
They
100%
always state how
clarity.
clearly it was, and it's like,
Well, didn't the robots say that in Blood Dragon?
oh man,
Like when you were coming for them, they would go, Jesus.
Oh no, that's a Ghost Adventures thing. They were in a church and they had that little
Okay.
talkie box thing.
yeah.
Maybe.
They're
Oh,
just
the
in
little
the-
thing that makes up words. Yeah, or
Yeah.
not makes up words, but it's like, oh, the spirit will tell the box what what to say. And
God, I miss having Travel Channel just for Ghost Adventures.
Butthole.
Yeah,
Butthole.
yeah, they always play it 3 times.
Butthole.
But yes, in the church it was Jesus.
Yeah, I always remember that Jesus one. It was so good.
But then you need the guy, the O-face guy.
God. That guy's like a clickbait article author, constantly surprised by everything on Earth.
I do love that stupid ass show.
It's so good.
so good.
It is the best of the trash.
I don't know though.
I hate it for the same reasons that you guys
oh
love
yeah,
it.
well that's why we hate it. I don't usually hate watch, but I hate watch Ghost Adventures because I'm like,
No,
fuck these guys.
I genuinely fucking love their goofy ass shenanigans. That and God, it's even more like reality show, but the fuck, it's like Ghost Adventures in the Hood or something like that. Have you seen that one?
Oh,
No.
yes,
What
I've
the
seen an
fuck is it
episode of
called?
that. It's
What?
Ghost Hunters in the Hood or something like that.
God, what is it called?
They actually have one called Ghost Hunters in the Hood,
It may not be called Ghost Hunters in the Hood, but it's called something really similar.
and I assume it's a team of black guys.
It is a team of black dudes.
Is it Ghost in the Hood? Is that it? Let me see. I need to see like the people.
It's on like Travel Channel or something. I'm
Yeah, I
sure.
think
Well, that's
it,
where
yeah.
Ghost Adventures
Yeah,
originally was.
That's it. Ghost in the Hood.
Ghost in the okay.
Yeah.
I might have to change
It's-
my subscription
you
to
should-
get Travel Channel again.
It's
We're gonna do
actually,
Sling.
actually that
you
one's
should
on
catch-
Wii TV.
Oh Jesus.
You should catch an episode of that just because you need to see it.
Yeah. Well, we're switching over to Sling, I think, soon. So, problem is their DVR is very limited, and their on-demand stuff isn't as robust as DirecTV is. But
What about? Have you checked out the DirecTV Now and or PS View?
at PS View, the problem is it doesn't have like Comedy Central and I forget what else. Because we were like all in on PS View. We were like, oh shit, this is everything we want. And then CBS or whoever owns.
It was all the Viacom channels.
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah, Viacom. That's who it is. They all were like, nope, not doing it. And that kind of fucked all of it. So, but just about everything we want is on Sling, so we might be doing that. Anyway, you guys want to do a second half?
Totes.
I guess.
Yeah, we got an hour. We can make it happen, right?
Most def.
He's good.
An hour and 9 minutes.
Yep. Welcome back. Second half.
Still a motherfucking video game podcast.
Still is. Didn't change.
Damn right.
We're going to take a little detour from video games.
What?
Talk about PCs and Raspberry Pis.
For PCs, not video games?
No.
No,
No.
because you cannot use them to play video games.
Nope.
Oh.
PCs are for work.
That's right.
And porn.
Do work.
Working porn.
And,
that's-
and working
that's-
it.
I can
Work,
porn
work
on
and
my-
Like
working
I
it.
said, work.
Oh,
Work.
I can porn on my phone, though, so.
Now, so what should we start with? Should we start with BJ playing some actual games on a PC somehow, or Chuck putting together? Chuck, we haven't heard from you for a while.
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
Let's hear
Talk
from the
about
Chuck
what
order.
you've been doing.
Well, so they announced that mini SNES thing Nintendo did,
SNES Classic.
The
yeah.
SNES.
and then
Or
they
the, or the Super Famicom Classic.
right, and then they immediately announced that they were going to be just as big as dick holes as they were about the NES Classic, which was basically like, "Fuck you, you're not getting one."
They're
Ha
selling
ha,
4 of them.
Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
So all throughout like the NES Classic thing, like whenever like they would go on sale, you would always get these fucking trolls on Twitter who would just be like, "Just buy a Raspberry Pi, you fuckhead. It's so easy." And you were just like, you're talking to two different audiences. It's not they're not the same. I mean, like even I with computer knowledge was like, I would like a little mini NES. It's a cool little thing and I would like to own it. But
Yeah. I mean, those are the same people who would be like, "Why would you go to a restaurant when you can cook a steak yourself?"
yeah, I mean, it's just
And it's like one's a way fucking easier than the other.
yeah. But so the SNES got announced, and then they immediately announced that they were going to fuck everybody over trying to get one anyway. So I was like, you know what? Fuck them. I'm not going to even attempt to get it.
Plus the people who basically make it their job to, when anything goes on sale, they buy 50 of them.
Right. Yeah, I mean, people have written scripts and bots, and they just, whenever they go on sale, all the bots and scripts buy everything, and then you get fucked. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going to look into building a Raspberry Pi. Now, I never knew how inexpensive they were. I didn't know.
$35 for
Yeah,
a board.
I didn't know anything about them. I just heard people talking about them, and I always thought it was some weird Android thing because all of Android's things are food. So I was like, well, this is some dumb Android thing that I want to deal with. And I had like the
It's a dumb Linux thing.
yeah, well, I had the NVIDIA Shield handheld, and that had been my like retro gaming thing, but it was big and bulky and Androidy and stupid, and I didn't like that. So I started looking more into the Raspberry Pi thing, and I was like, oh, well, it's inexpensive, and all these articles make it sound like it's super easy to configure, so I'm like, okay, I'll just get one of these things. And it went on sale during Prime Day or something. It was like $55 for a big kit with the case and all the heat sinks, and came with a memory card and power supply and all the shit you need. So I started going down this path, and because I have all of these ROM dumps that I've made over the years with my cartridges, I figured that
What sort of ROM dumps are you making?
There's certainly some kind of dump going on here.
so I thought I might need a way to play all these that I have made over the years.
Right, from your legally owned games.
Right, yes. So I got this thing and, put it all together and configured it. And, like, the initial, like, getting it up and running is actually fairly easy. There's enough instruction that comes with it and enough how-tos on the internet to where it's like, okay, I've got this up and running to where I can make it do the things it says it's supposed to do. And then you start reading things like, it's got native support for this and it's native support for that. And I'm like, sweet, I've got a Wii U Pro controller I'm never going to use for anything else. I'll use that because this article says there's native support for it. And you click on the link where it describes the native support. And it's like, type this big long list of code into your thing. And I'm like, what the fuck? So,
Welcome to Linux. It's supported as long as you know how to
yeah.
recite the proper
As long as you're good at
incantation.
machine code.
Yeah, so you're just it gives you just this chunk of code that you're just supposed to type in, and then maybe it'll work your Wii U controller. So I haven't done any of that stuff yet.
Pseudo Wii U.
Yeah, you would think there would just be that command, but no, it doesn't understand any of that. It's
But what controller do you have?
I am using a wired 360 controller,
Okay.
and it just works. Like you plug the thing in, and it's just like, sweet, wired 360 controller, go.
It's supposed to support Bluetooth.
It does.
But apparently, everything I've read says that its Bluetooth support is a little bit clunky.
Here's the thing: you
It-
go into
It shows you the address, not the
Yeah.
name of the thing.
Yeah, so like I was trying to configure it in my house where there are a number of Bluetooth devices around the house.
You have to go out into a field.
And you go into this and it's like, all right, choose your MAC address from this thing. And it's like, how the fuck do I know what this controller's MAC address is? So basically, the trick is to turn off the controller and look at the MAC address list and then turn on the controller and the one that pops up that's not,
There you go.
But man, just getting in there, it was just like, which of these numbers is, and I'm like, am I programming colors into this? I just C9A3, So yeah, it's been a fun experience trying to make it go.
you can play the games on it, though.
Has it been a long road getting from
It has.
there to here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm going to make that my startup theme now.
Okay.
On my Raspberry Pi. I guess the level of frustration is brought down a bit by the price because it is really. I mean, the thing comes in this little paper gift bag. Like I handed it to my wife. I was like, "Open this. It's a computer. it's smaller than a playing card.
Hang on. Open this. It's a computer.
It's a computer.
It's, what, just bigger than a credit card?
It's about that size.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous. So I've been getting it configured and just trying to make it look right and do all the things I want it to do. The other thing I'll say, having spent a lot of time in the original Xbox XBMC era of trying to make media centers a thing before Plex came along and just did it, without having to worry about it. No one who works in the underground thing of whatever making front ends for things can make a front end look like anyone wants it to look. They're all garbage. Every front end for everything is garbage.
They only care about the functionality.
I guess, but it's just they're always ones that get so close. It's like, oh, this is clean, and there's not a bunch of garbage on the screen, and then they choose like fucking Comic Sans or Wingdings or something for the font. You're just like, the fuck is this?
Wingdings. That would be fun to interpret. Wingdings.
Where's Super Mario? Oh, that's music note, trumpet, star,
Left arrow.
Yeah. So I mean, there's always that. You just get that frustration of like, oh, it's almost there. It's always almost
That's
there.
what happens when you have engineers and programmers designing things.
That's why Reddit
That's
looks
why
like
they're
it does.
separate schools.
Yes.
Separate schools of thought, completely.
Yeah, it's always so close. It's always just, oh, it's almost what you want it to be. And what you just want it to be is like, here's my games, give me box art for the game, give me a little description of what the game is. I just want it nice
Basically
and neat.
give you Plex, but in video game form.
Yes, and it's always so close, but then it's just like they know each game has a paragraph of text, and then they make a little tiny window to where it has to scroll by like 4 words at a time, and you're like,
Man. You would
So.
think people would learn when Nesticle did it perfectly.
yeah, Nesticle.
Right out of the
years
box.
ago.
Nesticle was perfect.
Nesticle worked perfectly. Yeah, but so far it's played everything I've thrown at it. So
Yeah.
up through
Atari 2600 Combat.
Christ.
You crank that shit out.
God, those games are all.
Smurf.
I have every variant of every Atari game, like
Oh,
all the
yeah.
Brazilian knockoffs and everything. Just 8 million
You have a
Atari
Brazilian of
files.
them.
Yeah, and they're still smaller than what would fit on one floppy disk. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it's insane.
Well, I just remember the news groups. It used to be like you would subscribe to a news group just to get
Yeah.
like the ROM dumps that came out every MAME revision.
Yes. Yeah. Now the MAME stuff I haven't fooled with because that shit is figuring out which version of MAME you have and which ROMs fit with that. It's like I haven't fucked with that yet, but it's like up through PS1 have tried it, and it's like, yeah, this thing is flawless in terms of what it's trying to do.
Nice.
Whereas
Never seems to bog down or get clunky or anything.
it says it'll do Dreamcast and PS2. Haha, we'll see. Not so
Well,
sure about that.
I mean, technology has come a long way,
I
and that
know.
is a pretty impressive processor for
Yeah.
a thing that you can forget about in your pocket.
a thing that you can power via USB.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you need to have like 3 amps, but
So,
still.
do you have a case for it yet, or is it just a
one
loose?
one came in the pack.
Okay.
And then in the bundle that I bought. So
Yeah.
there's one that I want. It's a nice little wood grain, like clear / wood grain one that I'm going to get. I'm just making sure that this is my thing. I'm not going to start accessorizing for it until I'm positive. Like this is my jam. This is my thing. So
See, I'm doing the dumb thing,
Uh-huh.
and inspired by your choice to go Raspberry Pi, I am going to build a completely portable Raspberry Pi system.
with its own screen and all that.
Its own screen,
Uh-huh.
rechargeable batteries. So that's going to be hilarious.
I can't wait.
Good luck.
I'm looking forward to that. No,
I
seriously.
have-
Well, you've succeeded in putting together a PC,
I have.
so
I have put.
this is the next
well,
logical step.
I mean, I had Harlow's help for that, but and then it fell apart, and then I made it work again somehow. But that's PC gaming, y'all.
Good job.
But yeah, I mean, I have all the knowledge and skills to do what I need to do. You laugh at me. You don't know. You
I
don't
know.
what I do in my spare time.
Well,
We don't ask.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. It's really boring. But yeah, I'm gathering parts, and so stay tuned. We will hear more tales about that soon. I should be getting some more parts.
I too will probably be doing a Raspberry Pi thing, similar to Chuck though, like just
Yeah.
a retro gaming console thing.
I know I'm confident that I could just buy the parts to have one that hooks up to the TV or whatever, but I figure I want to do something a little bit different.
sure.
And
And if it fails, you've still got the thing that hooks up to the TV. So
well, I mean,
as long as you don't, fry that thing.
I could let all the magic
But the
smoke
good news
out.
is it's so cheap. It's like,
Right.
why not try doing this?
$35 for a
Yeah.
Raspberry Pi,
Yeah.
and that's regular retail price is $35. So
Yeah.
it's entirely possible to find one cheaper. And like the screen that I'm looking at for it is $50. It's a 7-inch touchscreen.
Man,
Yeah,
the whole world we live in.
$50 for a 7-inch touchscreen. Just
Mostly guaranteed not to catch on fire.
yeah,
mostly.
it shouldn't catch on fire. Like I could.
I
That's
say
the
that
warning
about
in the
most
box.
Doesn't that kind of
Shouldn't
count for
catch on fire.
everything?
Yeah, it shouldn't
Everything
catch on
except
fire.
firewood.
Right.
That really applies to
This should catch on fire.
Yeah.
Charcoal, lighter fluid, yeah. The crazy thing about that is you could replace your car stereo with a Raspberry Pi.
What?
Yeah, like you could replace your car stereo with a Raspberry Pi and a 7-inch touchscreen.
Okay. Yeah, I guess. I guess
You'd
you
need
could.
a little bit of audio stuff,
Yeah.
added onto it. But $35, you'd have a media server with Bluetooth, so you could connect it to your phone and get data,
Yeah, I guess you're right.
and a touchscreen so that you can control it all.
All right, there's my next project.
Yeah.
I want to make a Raspberry Pi car thing. Yeah, it'd be a double din pie.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can do crazy shit with the Raspberry Pi.
Cool. So,
But you did build a computer
I did.
that fell apart, and then you rebuilt it.
Yeah. So PCs have a tendency to do weird things, like sometimes the thing that you connect your SATA drives to just decides to freak out on you for no reason, and then you connect those drives to a different port on the motherboard, and then it works again. But I finally got things working, got them together, and I picked up PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, which is the thing that everyone is talking about.
That is the jam.
And I played it a little bit by myself, and I did very.
Oh, so you won. Well, I mean, you're supposed
Yeah,
to be
if
the
you
last
played on your
survivor,
own,
so if you
right.
played by yourself.
I played it solo, I should say.
Okay.
I played it solo, and I did very terribly the first game, and then the second game I came in 11th place out of 100, which is pretty good. And then friend of the podcast, Ian Boudreau, he was like, "Hey, I have Battlegrounds 2. We should play some duos." So we played about 5 or 6 games. I think it was Tuesday night. We played 5 or 6 games of Battlegrounds, and that game is tense as shit, especially when you're like bad at it like me, and you are expecting you expect that everything in the world is going to wreck you from around the corner as soon as you make any move. So it's weird. It's weirdly like a horror game when you're playing it, because you're like, anything could happen at any time, and everything is bad, and you're super nervous. but we didn't do very well at all. We got wrecked. We didn't get any kills. We just got our asses handed to us. It was hilariously bad. But I can, like, now having gotten into it, I can see why people like to play it and are, like, totally getting into it. And there are some fidelity considerations that, you know, you have to just accept that it's built on, it's basically built off the Arma engine. The same, I think it's running Unreal or something like that. I don't know. But it's basically Arma stripped down, and it doesn't look as fantastic as a AAA game would. There's still some jank. It's an early access game, so there's still some jank that they're working out, and like your system requirements to run it are way higher than they should be because it's just not optimized well yet. But they're making improvements there's a patch almost every week, and there's a big patch every month. Mm-hmm. So they're making progress, which is good.
Well, it's because they're making bank.
Yeah, they are. They've sold 5 million copies, and at what, $40?
That's early access.
Yeah.
$40 a copy. So, you know, that's $20 million.
Yeah, that'll
right?
work.
Sure.
More than that, but
yeah.
40 times 5 million. Yeah, that'd be 200 million.
200 million. Yeah, there you go.
I could deal with $200 million.
Yeah, and I think it's been a little bit less expensive here and there, but there's still a lot of money. Plus, they are partnered with Microsoft now to do a version for the Xbox One. So,
yeah, I might have to wait for that, because I mean the mechanics to me are what's interesting about it, is the whole like kind of making makeshift teams that you know you're going to have to betray at some point if you're good enough to get to the end.
Well, that's
the whole
thing.
shrinking battlefield thing.
There's no like
that everyone starts from the same place.
There are no like teams and alliances though. If you're playing solo, you're playing by yourself.
Yeah, but I mean, like, even if you have a team together, isn't it basically there's only one winner at the end?
No,
Right?
the team will win.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're playing
so
duos,
if you're solo, you better be the best player on Earth.
Right. And if you're playing a team, you really need to work together and communicate because you can all win together. So if one person from the team, the rain just keeps getting louder and louder and
Is
louder.
it like a hailstorm out there? Because holy shit.
Sorry.
This big old fat rain.
Does he kill a guy by landing on him? Okay.
It's a PUBG kill that's just pretty spectacular. Animated GIF form.
So loud.
No.
So yeah, if you're the last person alive in your team and you are the last person alive in the game, then your whole team wins. So
yeah, to me it almost sounds cooler if like the team has to turn on each other at some point. Like if the team wipes everyone else and then it's like, all right, there's 5 of you left. So then is it just like, you know, it becomes a Mexican standoff where everybody's aimed at everybody else.
right.
Or they're all like, man, Frank, fuck that guy. He's the first to go.
Yeah.
Or everyone just tosses a grenade in the middle and runs.
Right. It might be. I mean, there are other game modes that are in testing. So like all of the partnered streamer types have access to some of these things.
They do.
Yeah. I mean, streamers made this game, so I don't begrudge them getting a little, getting a little extra access. But they have stuff like a zombie mode where every game has a zombie mode, but this is the same game mechanic, but you have one team of 4 people that are regular people, and then 96 zombies. And the goal is for, to either defeat all of the zombies or for the zombies to defeat you. Yeah. So it's a pretty cool option for a game mode, because you'll see you'll be walking from town to town or whatever, trying to get to wherever the circle is closing in on, and all of a sudden just like 40 of these naked, weird looking things start running at running at you and jumping and punching. So there's that. There's also like a CTs versus terrorists mode where you have several squads of CTs and a couple squads of terrorists, and you have to fight it out. But they're doing interesting things with that game, and I want to keep playing it.
Cool. I'm going to have to
Before
give it
I-
a shot at some point.
Before everybody turns off the podcast, I think we'll end the discussion there.
Okay.
Because I know people are tired of hearing about this fucking game, and I understand.
It has taken over the zeitgeist of what everyone talks about, like week to week in any kind of gaming, anything.
It's basically
like,
where Overwatch was a
yeah,
year and a half ago.
it kind of has turned into that.
Yeah.
And where Dota 2 was before that. It was
Mm-hmm.
just like, okay.
Yeah, we get it.
Man, if we didn't run people away with PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds talk,
Yeah.
let's try some fucking mobile game
Oh,
talk.
hell yeah.
Mobile Corner. Yeah. Mobile Corner, aside from Neo, that's where all my gaming has been this month.
That's all I did this month was
Yeah.
playing mobile games.
Yeah. My friends at TVGP, they got me into Marvel Puzzle Quest,
Okay.
which I know is like 3 or 4 years old now, and I remember trying it when it first came out, being like, yeah, it's Puzzle Quest. And, and there being like 20 different currencies and just being like, nah, I'm not going to do this. Fuck it. Move on. I'm back in. Back in hard. Because it's got the Puzzle Quest thing, of course, is what's going to appeal to me. Even it's sure as shit a Puzzle Quest game because you look at the board and you only have one move you can make. So you make it and that leads to like 20 lucky drops for the other team that just decimates you in one move. And you're like, what the fuck just happened? But it's still good, and it still has that you're building up your different colors to get different superpowers that you can activate, and it's a strategy of, okay, which team did I build, and which superpowers do I use in what order in order to knock out the other team and all that. But I think the thing that separates it from a lot of other mobile games is that no matter your level, there's something to do. It's until like later on in some of the timed events, like once it reaches a certain stage where it's like, yeah, I don't have anything that can compete on this level. But at the beginning, pretty much everyone can participate in a story mode battle, which I think 2 or 3 times a week they start a new story mode, which is just a new sequence of missions, which, right now it's, I think Rocket and Groot have landed on Earth and they're helping the Avengers do something. So it's like, okay, all these missions revolve around them and they might give you one of them for add them to your roster for that particular battle. So there's always something to be doing in that game and something to be earning, even though, yes, it does have 5 or 6 different currencies of stuff. Because there's one for upgrading your guys, and then there's the covers you collect to unlock the powers on or new characters. There's the coins, which are the actual ones that you purchased that let you increase your roster or do, other timed shit. But in general, I found you can do all you want to do in a day and not really ever have to worry about, okay, my guys have to heal up and I can't do it because they give you 10 heals a day. So it's really good. And I guess it helps that I'm in a group where people are participating so that, we're getting bonuses for doing that. But I like it because I haven't had to pay a damn thing and it keeps me occupied and it actually has some depth as far as developing your roster and all that stuff. And it's Puzzle Quest, which, if anyone remembers from way back when on the 360 days of me playing Puzzle Quest for just hours and hours and hours, that was the game. That was my default. Man, it's Friday. Nobody's doing shit. I don't feel like going out. I'm just going to sit here at home and play Puzzle Quest for 5 straight hours.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, those were the days, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just skip meals, skip sleep, just play
Totally.
Puzzle Quest. I don't like to think about how much time I have in the 360 version of Puzzle Quest, for which I have all the achievements, which is ludicrous. Yeah, the other one I've been playing, they released a new Futurama game, and I downloaded the wrong one. I downloaded Futurama Game of Drones, which is one from a few years back, which is basically another Match 4 type thing. But it gives you different board configurations, and then certain tiles are locked until you match them a certain number of times. There's just dozens of different variations on that. And this one, I have not paid them anything. And, if playing a certain amount of matches each day gives you new cards, which, are collectible cards, but they don't really do anything aside from if you get a complete set of 5 from a category. One category is just different types of drones. One is from the Planet of the Amazons episode. It's all the different Amazons. And You know, the different delivery people at Panucci's are a category. You know, one of them Barack Obama and just stuff like that. Like, and getting those lets you trade them in for a certain type of bonus. You know, whether it's their dollar credits, which are the things that you can actually purchase, or what. But yeah, that's been a good time waster one. Though that one definitely gives you the feel of, hey, I'm a free to play thing, and I'm gonna fuck you until you pay up. Because, you know, there's just like, when the stuff drops down, it doesn't feel like it falls in a consistent order. Like, you know, most things like, okay, you know, when you have a grid on screen, all right, these are going to fall straight down and whatever is randomly generated from the top is what's going to fuck me. Whereas this one feels like, okay, because everything slides diagonally when it drops and you delete something off the screen, you know, it's basically on a hexadecimal type or, you know, a hex grid type thing. And so sometimes, okay, that one's going to fall left, and then other times, oh, it's going to fall right, and you never know which. So it's like you almost can't plan ahead. You can't be like, all right, if I destroy this, then this is going to drop here, and that's going to help me. It's like there's no predictability to it. And it's, of course, going to fall the way that's not going to help you ever. And it always feels like your first run at a level, you're going to get like one short of accomplishing it before you run out of turns. And they're like, hey, do you want to spend your credits to get more turns? Or just want to give up and start over? You know, and then you start over, and then it's like, okay, now we're really going to fuck you, because it's like you're never going to get close again. So that one, I mean, I'm enjoying it, and I'm not giving them any money, but I've hit some levels where I've just had to keep playing the same level for like 2 days straight, just hoping to get the lucky run that's going to clear it. And I don't even know how many there are. I think I'm on level like 125, and there's something like 300 in the game, I believe. But again, it's good. It has it actually has a storyline going through it that I'm kind of enjoying, and it seems like they get the humor of the show, which is kind of nice as well. But yeah, it's a free-to-play game, you know, with all those trappings of watching an ad gives you like a bonus spin on this wheel, and you can only do it a certain number of times per day, but that's where they get their their revenue is dealing with that stuff. And quick note, Kami 2, they patched in ads, which bummed me out.
Oh.
I stopped playing because it was like, oh, you want to do today's user chosen level? All right, here's an ad. And you're like, oh, fuck. Used to be a lot easier than before, but I guess clearly people buying hints wasn't paying the bills. So, yeah, it has ads in it now, so I kind of stopped playing that one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I don't want to say it's the reason I haven't played anything all month. There are other reasons I haven't played any games all month, but the one thing I have played since the last episode is mostly Crazy Taxi Gazillionaire, which I'm now done with.
You're done?
I've put that away.
Oh, good.
Did
you beat it?
No, it just got to a point where...
Did you unlock Batman?
No, but you get to a point where you're at the same amount...
I can't believe you didn't ask me that about Arkham VR.
I know.
Can you play as Batman? It's the one game you can
thought
literally
maybe
play.
I thought maybe we
as
moved
Batman.
on.
You were
I
on a
thought you
roll. I didn't want
definitively
to interrupt
said that you were playing as Batman.
As Batman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
I thought it was clear.
Can you play as Man-Bat?
No.
No.
We'll see. Damn it. Anyway, you just get to a point where you've got a certain amount of money and you can't really progress anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But there's levels to get to. You just can't get there. The in-game buy these things don't seem to get you there any faster either.
Yeah.
So all it does when you prestige is just get you to this hard cap faster, and then you have to do nothing but put the game down and come back 2 days later and see if you've accumulated enough money to get past it, and you haven't. And I was like, well, this is dumb. I'm never going to get to where I'm going. So for a free-to-play game that I played consistently several times a day for at least a month, maybe longer, I have to say that's a pretty good free-to-play game, because never once did I ever feel like I had to throw money at it. Not one time. But the one thing that game subsists on is shoving ads in your face, which I kind of got to be okay with, because it was mostly other apps that it was showing ads for. Occasionally it would just be something dumb, but for the most part it would be other games. And these were games that I had never, in a million years, I wouldn't have known that they were games. So it was at this point where I was like, I'm just going to download some of these and I'll have them for whatever the next time is that I need a mobile game. So I've been stockpiling these games on my phone, And so when I kind of wrapped up Crazy Taxi, I started going through these.
Yeah.
And a couple of them were just match 3 games, and I was like, I like Bejeweled 2, I like Bejeweled 3. I played a lot of those on the 360. So there were a couple of those in the batch. One was Angry Birds Blast, and the other was a Family Guy game, which is a ridiculous ripoff of Angry Birds Blast. It's not even close. But I don't understand when match 3 games got really fucking complicated. Like, instead of just matching the shapes and the colors, and obviously a 4 will get you something and a 5 will get you something, but this is like they've gotten to the point where it's like, make a square or make an L shape, and that will create this Rubik's Cube star that when you match with the thing that's got a other thing on it will explode all of these things. And it's like,
I think that's got to be a matter of trying to differentiate themselves from everyone else.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's only so many ways you can do.
I know.
Here's this grid, and you need 3 of them to match up.
And I get that. I think what my complaint is it's more with me in that I waited so long between games in that genre that I'm so far behind on the concepts within it now that I'm lost. Like, it would be like if you were playing Madden on the Genesis and then all of a sudden, jump to a PS4 version. You're like, what? Those games are fine. The Family Guy one is kind of irritating because Family Guy is irritating, but it's all revolved around alcohol, which I don't understand how that can be an app. Like, it seems like that would be an instant, like, no, you can't make that game, but it's all about matching the drinks for the characters, and then they get drunk and fall off the screen, and you're like, how are you doing that? Like, how are you getting by with that? But whatever, Family Guy. Yeah. So I settled on a game. It just came out recently, although I think it's been out overseas for a while, WWE Tap Mania. Which is a game where you tap on the screen a lot. Like, a lot. Like, your screen is...
Like, until you feel like you're going crazy?
Well, like the old track and field arcade cabinet where you would just have to wail the fuck on the buttons to do anything? Yeah. Enjoy taking, like, 2 fingers on each hand and just fucking beating the fuck out of your phone screen. Because that's what you have to do at certain points to get past whatever it is you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And there are 9 million systems in the game, and cards, and 12 currencies, and every 4 seconds John Cena pops up to tell you a new thing. 20 hours into the game, John Cena's popping up to say, hey, come check out this new thing you unlocked, and here's a new way to play. And
is there a toggle for that so that you don't see him?
No, because they have to continually... Fuck off. But yeah, it's just a dumb game. And eventually you hire other cards to stand in the ring with you so that when you're not tapping the screen, they're tapping the screen for you. So you get to a point where
that's
so it's
every
cookie clicker.
game.
It's cookie clicker.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, every game like that is basically hire someone to do the game for you.
Yeah. So like when you go into menus, the game is still running. You can see it faded in the background, but all the other characters are doing it for you. So whatever, man. Mobile games are fucking weird.
Yeah,
They sure are.
Did it have ads, or is it just a straight up like, hey, it's WWE?
No,
we're
there's
promoting
ads.
WWE.
There's ads in it also.
Great.
I don't know how the world has gotten okay with ads in mobile games. Especially video ads, and doubly video ads that make noise.
I've never out of all these games, I've never heard anything.
Yeah.
My sound is always off. I don't know what any of these games
The
sound
only
like.
time I ever hear them is if I have my headphones on,
Yeah.
like listening to a podcast, and while I'm doing something else,
Yes.
and then when it suddenly pops up an ad, then it'll play the ad over the podcast or congruent with the podcast, which is my favorite one.
Yes.
But yeah, rarely do I hear them because I just have it plugged in on my desk, and I'm like, all right, it looks like it's time to tap some shit.
And then I'll close with this because I think it's going to segue into Harlow's thing. Is that there's an Office Space game that I have a feeling I have not played Adventure Capitalist, but I think it is Adventure Capitalist with an Office Space skin on it. I've only played that for a couple of minutes, so I can't really comment on it. But it's basically you are siphoning pennies away from the company, but you have to put movie characters in certain positions in this office to make sure that you are maximizing the fractions of pennies that you are stealing from the company. And it's just another one of those games. So, and there's something where you have to tap on the screen. It's like, here's the printer, bash the shit out of it, tap, 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 that kind of thing. So,
Okay.
Yeah, you mentioned Venture Capitalist. I finished it. I think I said last time I was close to finishing it, and I did, in fact, finish it. I had finished 2 of the areas out of 3. There's Mars and the Moon, and then Earth is like the one that I had to finish up. And yeah, you hit a certain point, it's like, okay, the game's not telling me I'm done with the game, but I'm totally done with the game. Like, there are no more upgrades, there are no more anything.
Nothing else to do.
There are no more worlds to conquer, so... yeah.
But
So
it's good.
I wept and I deleted it.
Oh.
And I haven't actually played a mobile game since. Like, I think, honestly, like...
It broke you.
Well, yeah, it did. It Ivan Drago'd the fuck out of me, because, like, I just don't even care anymore. Like, I haven't even really, like, said, man, what should I play? I downloaded one, like, a free app of the week thing just to try it, but I played it for, like, 30 seconds. I'm like, that's garbage. Delete.
yeah.
And...
Oh, I've deleted about 10 apps of other ones that I downloaded from seeing ads for, and were just like, this is the hottest of bullshit.
yeah.
Like,
pretty much.
there are varying degrees of free play games, because like some of them, like Crazy Taxi, are kind of subtle in what they want you to do to keep it free. Man, like some of the slot machine things, like there was like this Willy Wonka slot machine thing. Holy fuck. The amount of times it is begging for your Facebook password. Fuck off. Like,
Yeah.
I
don't understand slot machine games on a phone.
I don't either, especially
the
because
point of a slot machine is to win money.
Yeah, and you would think they would be programmed to maybe make you feel better. Like, obviously, a slot machine is going to take all your money, but the slot machine app will probably like keep you going and make you feel good about it. No, they fucking take your money the same way, your virtual money, in the same amount of time that a real machine would. Like, you're done with the game in 45 seconds. You're like, well, fuck. Why did I play that? That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, nothing remotely interests me. The only thing I'm playing is, like, I'm back on my iPad. I'm playing a tower defense game.
No.
But, like, that's not... I mean, I might as well be sitting at a computer.
Which one? Which one is it?
Balloons.
Oh, you're back to balloons.
Yeah.
Man, they keep putting shit in balloons.
Yeah, they do.
Every time I open it up, I'm like, oh my god, there's so much more stuff that I'd forgotten about.
Yeah, Balloons TD5 is still good.
Have they put out a TD6, or is it still just
I don't think
TD5?
so. I think it's just number 5 still.
Yeah, that is a good tower defense.
Yeah,
game.
I just
can't knock that.
I've gone back to playing that for some stupid reason.
No,
But
it's not stupid, man. It's a good game.
I mean, well, what's weird is, like, apparently my progress got reset somewhere along the way.
Oh, Jesus.
Probably from moving my iPads, I think, but I guess it doesn't have cloud saves, but I was just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I didn't really have anything unlocked that's, like, absolutely necessary. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's one of those games, like, you can unlock shit, but it's like, it doesn't break the game. Like, you never get to that Diablo level of, like, I've unlocked everything, let's just murder this. It's like, it's still kind of just as hard as it was before.
Yeah. So I guess I'll wrap up our mobile corner, huh?
Okay.
Check it back in on Pokemon Go. I gotta say, I never stopped playing Pokemon Go, but they put out the Generation 2 or whatever you want to call it batch of stuff that went up to, I think it's like 250 now in the Pokédex. So that was fun when that first launched, because there was all sorts of new shit everywhere. And now it's hit the point where it's like, yeah, all the new shit, like, you've seen all the new shit that is going to be out in the wild.
All the
pretty
stuff
much.
that you're going to catch.
Yeah.
Not you specifically, but
Yeah.
all the stuff that plebeians are going to catch,
Oh,
not
yeah, of course.
hardcore players.
Yeah. But they had their 1-year anniversary, and then they did like a Pokemon Go Fest in Chicago that apparently went as poorly as you would expect that to go.
If you have followed Niantic for any length of time, you knew it was going to be a clusterfuck.
Yep.
And they are exactly what you thought they were.
I want to be the very worst.
Yeah, it took people like an hour to leave. Like like to check out, they couldn't get out without waiting an hour in line to leave.
Yeah.
Somehow, and like of course cell service was just fucked because there were so many people trying to be on it.
Well,
that nobody could be on it.
Yeah, Niantic hasn't worked that out, even though basically what they do is they create these giant events and want thousands of people at them, but they have no way to manage either their servers or to work with wireless carriers to get increased service in the area.
Why didn't they just have Wi-Fi all over the place?
Well, their servers couldn't handle it even if you're on Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Yeah, it was bad news.
All right.
However, what it did was
It would have mitigated some of the problem, but
what it did was they released legendary raids into the world because they completely revamped how the gyms worked. Where the gyms used to
they
be
did that
like
a few months ago.
Yeah, you'd see the gyms, and the gyms would basically be like the same 8 things sitting in there, all like from people who have played even more than I have since launch, and so it would just be like these unbeatable things sitting in gyms all over town, and all you could hope to do was piggyback if one of them got booted. And they changed it so now like there have to be 6 different types of things in each gym, and over time they lose health. Like even if no one fights them, they just gradually go down, so they're easier to knock out. So it's much easier to basically go to a gym and take it over. And you get a lot more credits if you have your thing in for more than, I think it's 8 hours. Because like every 10 minutes you get 1 credit for it. But you can only get 50 credits per day. So what happens is if you have 4 different things in gyms across town and all 4 get booted at the same time, you're basically only getting 50 credits. But if one gets booted today and then the other 3 get booted tomorrow, you got 50 credits for today and 50 credits for tomorrow. So it's made it a lot easier to actually, expand your item box and your Pokemons you can handle and all that stuff. But anyway, they put out legendary raids, which are basically timed things that are against like super powerful enemies. Like the one we fought was Lugia, which I guess is like one of the mascots for one of the teams. And there's one called Articuno that was somewhere else. But it was notable because it was the one time I have been out and seen other people playing Pokemon Go at the gym.
In the last year.
Yeah, like that first week there were people doing stuff, and you'd see them like going around catching Pokemons. And this one, luckily I live right near a college, so we went to one right by the college, and there was like 30 people all standing under a tree. I'm like, oh, you know why the fuck they're here.
Right.
And yeah, so my wife and I joined their group, and we battled Lugia.
Did you win?
Yes, we beat him.
Cool. Did you
However,
capture him?
you have to capture him, and they give you like special Pokeballs to do it, and you only have like that chance. And if you don't get him then, you got to fight him again and do it or whatever. Yeah. They gave me 11 of them, and I did not catch him with any of them, despite getting greats and excellence on him for most of the hits. Yeah, only one guy out of like the 30. I think there was one guy who's like, oh my God, I actually got it. And then like one other girl, I think, got it. But out of like 30 people standing there, 2 people ended up with him. But it was just notable because it was like, holy shit, there are people playing Pokemon Go somewhere.
I saw a bunch of nerd people gathered around the library with their phones out.
You're pretty wont to do that, Ed.
Well, I mean, not outside the
fucking
library.
nerds reading and shit.
Fucking books.
They were outside the library. They weren't inside the library.
So they weren't true nerds.
They were Pokemon
but
nerds.
I also want to note, in true Niantic fashion, half the people, the app crashed right near the end of the battle.
Oh, of course.
So they didn't
Of
even
course.
get to make throws at Lugia once he was catchable.
Of course.
And they were like frantically trying to get back in, but then because the timer had expired on the raid, they couldn't get back in, and they were just like, one guy's like, yeah, well, I guess this is service ticket number 185 to them.
Right.
Which, yeah, he clearly played way too much, but yeah, it was nice to see people playing it again. But now, whenever I see these legendary raids, it's always like at 9 a.m. as I'm walking into work. And I'm like, yeah, they're never going to fucking see anybody doing these on a weekday at 9 a.m.
Yep.
So it's like almost like, why even bother putting these time things out then? So who knows?
I don't know, man.
But still, it's nice to have new stuff to catch, even though that's already wearing off. But at least they've made some of the goals easier, and some of the things for people that are still playing to team up and play are worth doing, because like you cannot beat any of that stuff
by yourself
on your own. Yeah, it took like 20 of us to beat him, and it was down to the wire for most of us. So yeah, so I guess that's all our mobility.
I believe so.
Is that all she's got for this episode?
No, we got an email.
All right.
Because speaking of Pokemon, we got Jay from Vegas who says, "Yo, Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon, I'm happy for you, and I'm gonna let you finish. But Gold and Silver are the best Pokemon games of all time." Hey, No Quarters crew. Jay from the prequel to Fallout New Vegas here, and I cannot tell you how simultaneously pleased and displeased I am that Pokemon Gold and Silver are coming to the 3DS. Pleased because Gold and Silver fixed issues like with dual-type Pokemon and made Psychic no longer the fucking overpowered cheater class it was in Red and Blue, but it also added day-night cycles, genders, Pokemon breeding, new evolutions, and is the only Pokemon game that lets you play the previous game in its entirety upon beating the Elite Four. Now, why am I displeased? No Pokemon Crystal! Not only did Crystal fix issues with Gold and Silver, it was the first game where you could play a female trainer and it had bonus levels. Yes, the one Pokemon game that contains 2 full games added more content, yet it's not coming to the 3DS. Nintendo gave us Yellow with Red and Blue, so denying us Crystal seems stupid. Oh, and since the Switch is technically Nintendo's new handheld, it looks like that console gets the next generation of Pokemon. And in case you're wondering, no, I'm not buying a second Switch for trading. At least not now, when the fucking things are impossible to find and $300. If a 2DS-like version of the Switch that's cheaper and smaller comes out, I would get one then, because fuck money. Ghost Ride the Squirtle and hit that Bulbasaur, Fiddy. Jay, sent for my Pokemon Gold cart with a dead battery.
Cool. I understood like half that.
I heard the words Pokemon a lot.
I heard fuck money, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm all about some fuck money.
No.
Easy there, Virgil.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but I always the thing I always remembered about Pokemon was people buying multiple carts just to trade with themselves.
Wait,
And
really?
system, yeah, like back in the day, like having multiple Pokemon color or Game Boy colors just to trade Pokemon, since certain ones couldn't be found in red, you had to trade them into blue and all that shit.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Yeah, there were people that did that.
All right. I don't know. I just played Y. Straight up. I don't know what I was doing. I had some fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. I put some games on it.
I remember trying to play Yellow when I first went, like after Pokemon Go got me like, yeah, let's play a Pokemon. And then I was like, this is nothing like those games at all. But yeah, it does seem odd to not give you the better version for release. But I'm guessing that will be released a little bit later once everyone's bought all the Gold and Silvers. Then they'll be like, okay, yeah, here's Crystal. Because that sounds like a Nintendo thing to do. Or they'll be like, oh, you know what? There's only so many virtual copies we can sell. So if you didn't buy it in the first 10 minutes, you don't get one. Because Nintendo.
I don't know. I just want a real-ass Pokemon game on the Switch. That's what I want. I will sit and play it. I don't care about trading or... I don't know. I just don't have this obsession most of the time to 100% things, like unlock all the bullshit.
But the point of Pokemon is to catch them all.
I don't give a fuck.
No, you've got to catch them all.
I do not.
You've got to.
I don't.
Oh, good
Don't tell me what to do.
You're not my dad.
Yeah. You suck my
Whoa,
wood,
whoa.
Professor Oak.
Whoa. Jesus.
I don't know.
Jesus.
So anyway, I guess that's it for this month, huh?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
so. I think we've gone on
We
long
got
enough.
some VR, got some mobile.
Right. All the
Yeah.
not real video games.
Like consoles, what are those?
Eh.
Eh. Lamos use those, am I
Yeah.
right?
You're right, lamos.
So anyway, if you want to get in touch with us,
Uh-huh.
write us at where my skull at noquarters.net, as in the location of our skull, not something you would put on your body. As in
Yeah,
wearing.
do not adorn yourself with our
Yes,
skulls.
do not.
Yeah.
But yeah, also check us out, youtube.com/noquartersnet, facebook.com/noquartersnet,
Twitch.tv/NoQuartersNet.
twitter.com/noquartersnet, and of course, noquarters.net. All of those things, you can find us. And if Major Nelson tweets about backwards compatibility for anything, you need to remind him, hashtag 50 Cent Blood on the Sand, hashtag Where My Skull, and request that 50 Cent Blood on the Sand be made backwards compatible.
Yeah.
Even though Larry Herb, Xbox Live Major Nelson, has no control over what games are
Nope.
available.
He's the announcer, and
It's
so
right.
we kill the messenger.
In fact, Microsoft themselves don't even have any say as to what comes on the back. But they have a little bit of say, but not much. It's up to the publisher.
Maybe if we bother Larry enough, he'll go, "Oh my God, these people won't stop shutting up about 50 Cent Blood on the Sand. What even is that game? Please, someone help."
Wasn't it a THQ game?
It might have been.
So that's going to
It
be
was.
real fun.
So
Maybe
it's
we should
basically
just start
free.
tweeting at Fiddy.
I was going to say Fiddy might have more power than Microsoft in this.
Yeah.
We can just tag Fiddy,
Yeah.
and Fiddy would be like, "What?
Yeah. Hear us, Fiddy. I know Fiddy's proud of that game.
Hear us.
Is he still?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Fiddy likes that and Bulletproof, which he's wrong about Bulletproof, but
I just don't want to have to plug my 360 back in to play 50 Cent Blood on the Sand.
especially
with my
because
bros.
the cord would have to reach to the sun.
Yeah,
so
it's-
really,
Right.
It's burning up
gonna
as
be
we
an
speak.
Hey, Amazon, do you have a 1 AU HDMI cable?
Good call.
Yeah.
Boy, the screen lag's really rough on this. It's like the signal has to transmit light years. But anyway, please do that. And thanks for listening.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, and if you want to check us out, patreon.com/bmfcast. Our sister show, obviously, Bad Movie Fiends. Our Patreon gets you access to exclusive content and lets you vote on BJ's Twitch streaming game each month.
That's right. And also, if you're a patron, if you're a Patreon patron,
We can't speak today, can we? We're like,
Patreon.
but if you're a patron, you can get yourself into our newly christened Bearsuit Studios Discord. And once we release it live to the general public, you will have a fancy, swanky-ass Patreon lounge to chat in, away from all of the plebes. But if you're a patron, go ahead and check patreon.com/bmfcast, and there's a link to the Discord that'll get you in there. And we got 7 or 8 folks that are hanging out and chatting with us, and it's a good time right now. So pop in there and say hi, and then keep an eye out on the Twitters and the Facebooks, and we'll announce when we go officially live with the Discord, so you guys can hang out and chat and yell at us in real time, or yell at each other in real time, and maybe get together for some gaming, playing some of that stuff out. And it's got voice chat, and it's cool stuff. So get on it.
yep,
Totally.
make it happen. Well, let's get out of here.
All right.
I'm Mackie.
I'm BJ.
I'm Chuck.
And I'm Harlow.
This is No Quarters Out.
There was a change.org petition to make 50 Cent Blood on the Sand backwards compatible. It got 24 signatures.
Well, if we had known, it would have 28 signatures.
I know.
But we didn't know.
Hey, my 360 is actually right back there. It's not in the sun at all.
Oh, let's
Put it in the sun.
Why did you?
Come on.
Mine is in the garage, which is about as hot as the sun, along with my PS3.
It's right here.
Look at that thing.
Man, you can
Man.
still play 50 Cent Blood on the Sand.
could, yes.
That fucker's got some miles on it. I'll tell you that.
Mine especially does.
Is it still one of the white ones? Oh, no, it just made its way to the sun.
That's a motherboard box. Because I'm a nerd.
Is there a
I mean,
motherboard in it?
It has some miles on it because it's hurtling towards the sun.
No, there's not. There's pieces.
Oh.
I have a motherboard box too now.
I do have a ribbon cable, so if
Oh.
you need to hook up your IDE drives via ribbons.
Is that still a thing?
No.
No.
I was going to say.
This
I
is
would
the
be
new
surprised.
hotness, some SATA cables.
So are SATA all the same, or are there different SATA cables?
They're
They're mostly the cables are basically the same.
cables are the same.
I know the SATA, like the different ports, but is it like HDMI, where it's like
They're
one HDMI cable is going to work no matter what the...
well, that's mostly true too. Yeah, no, SATA cables are mostly all the same.
Yeah.
I think some of the very, very early ones were not up to snuff. But
Okay.
Yeah.
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 However, your SATA controllers are not all the same. Because that
is true.
that Marvell adapter,
yeah, sucks.
it
As soon as like you were saying that you're having problems, I was like, I think maybe I didn't use that.
half the time it won't read the second drive, the terabyte drive, and then for some reason I was getting issues with like it said my boot sector was corrupted and
Wow.
wanted me to
I can attest to
Got
that.
fucking filthy boots.
shut up. But it was like Windows was like, there's a problem with your boot sector. You're gonna have to run a repair, and then it wouldn't let me run the repair, and then I restarted like 9 times, and it started to work. And then I was like, okay, fuck this. I'm gonna turn it off and swap those connectors.
See, the problem is like it's been a long time since I used that motherboard, and like I want to say that was one of the first SATA. Was that 3? The 6 gigabit? Yeah, I think it's SATA 3, but it's 6 gig
Okay,
is
yeah.
the max. Like that was one of the first chipsets that had that, and I think it was not ready for prime time.
Yeah, there may be a flash update for the BIOS or something, but I don't want to get into that. The other thing is, so I tried to, so we had the wrong version of Windows installed, the wrong version of Windows 10, and I was gonna do the Windows utility to create a
USB.
to create boot media on the USB, but it doesn't read that USB drive as a USB flash drive. It reads it as just a drive, so it wouldn't recognize it. The utility was like, you don't have a USB flash drive hooked up, so sorry. It just reads it as a regular hard drive. Also, the USB 3 ports on the front don't work, or on the top. They work. Actually, they don't work in Windows. They work on boot. They just
Weird.
yeah, yeah, all sorts of fucking weirdness.
Weird.
So
What weird?
yeah,
I wonder why that connection would be weird.
the
Yeah.
USB on the front.
Yeah, why it would not recognize that in Windows.
Might just
I don't
need
know.
a new driver.
Yeah, it probably needs a new driver. I need to.
I was going to say probably needs a new driver.
I know you were. I just need to go on the MSI website and download all new Windows drivers for that.
Oh,
actually,
for the motherboard?
I just need to get
Yeah.
all. I need to get a good, legit copy of Windows installed, and then
I'm telling you, what was that one we went to? It wasn't CD Keys, was it? Whichever one. There was another one where I paid like $26.
Uncle Larry's discounts.
Yeah, just
CD
to
keys.
unlock my fucking actual copy of Windows, but because I didn't do the anniversary edition update or whatever beforehand,
Yeah,
it basically said, "Hey, your copy's a trial copy," and it kept doing that shit.
yeah. I have the little activate Windows thing pop up in the bottom right now.
Yeah, I got a code
But-
for like $27, and that has never come back.
I have a key. I just
Oh.
I just installed like the enterprise version of Windows, and it was the key is for Pro.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
What
Just gotta-
are you two staring at over there?
What?
He's staring at me. I'm looking through our movies.
I'm out of here. I know you guys got another podcast to do.
We do.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, but we're not live streaming that one.
No. You got to pay us, motherfuckers.
We're very hostile today with that.
Fucking pay us,
Ah,
so we don't have to work anymore.
the podcast. Fuck you. Pay me.
Right. Get your fucking shine box.
That motherfucker. All right.
how long do you guys usually run the extras for?
45 minutes.
45 minutes.
Take it.
Why, are you going to hang?
I was gonna see if I could hang and get some Harlow help to get this USB situation sorted out.
Wait, is it here?
Not the tower, but I brought
Oh.
the USB